Yo, what's up, boys? Welcome to the BLASTCAST. And today I'm joined by Palstron, Ventura, and Garata. What's up, dude? How are you guys doing?
Hey. Thanks for having me.
Hey, doing good.
Oh,
Hope
it's
you're
a
doing
pleasure.
good too.
They're
Yeah,
great.
doing well, thanks. So I guess the first thing we want to talk about is what are you guys playing? And I'm just gonna go by like where the camera frames are. So I'll just ask Garata first. Like, what have you been playing, man?
So I started out with the Fireball, Frostball, Blood Mage. That build was pretty bad early on. Like, Blood Mage sucked a lot. Like, early on, I was just dying to my own spells. It turned out pretty well in the end, though. Like, it was really fun. And then I've been switching over to, like, trying other builds out. I leveled as a bow character yesterday, and I was actually so salty, like, how good it was compared to, like, the caster.
Dude, the leveling is
Like, I just
insane
one-shot
on this.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was stupid. It was stupid.
And so what are you planning for the bow character then?
I was actually only leveling it to like switch over because I was playing like Impending Doom, like Archmage.
Oh,
I switched
okay.
over to that. Yeah, it
Right.
was like only a temporary thing, but it was really insane. I actually wanted to keep playing it. So
Yeah, I think I want to try Deadeye next for that exact reason. Like, seems pretty good. Which actually, let's. What about you, Palstron? You're playing a Deadeye, right? What are you playing?
Yeah, I'm playing Explosive Shot with like shock burst rounds for single target damage.
Mm-hmm.
I just respect to like up until tier 15s. I really like the acro, whole acro stuff with like evasion, and now I found that I just respect into ES anyways. All I had to do is literally just put in a body or like an ES body armor and like an anoint plus a few nodes on the tree, and I already tripled my EHP. So stupid.
That's crazy. But like,
yeah.
do you literally like how much ES do you have right now?
With Grim Feast up 3.4k.
Yeah, Grim Feast is busted, and you're going hybrid, obviously, right?
But it's literally free. Like I lost like 4% chance to evade or something.
Okay, so what? How much evasion are you at right now?
I actually cut acro because I felt like after you can take 1 or 2 hits from the ground effect, it actually kind of just screws you over. And against Delhi and against Breach, I only really died to like small hits. So I actually went for no acro. And now I'm at like 86% no acro with the energy shield.
Yeah, that's busted. That sounds really, really good.
Yeah, I don't die anymore. It's so nice.
That's solid. What about you, Ventura?
So I started as Infernalist Minion, so I had a good time. Unlike most people on day one, I was just vibing, right? I started an ES build from the start. And since like day one, I was kind of chilling. I started in trade, but after like 1 week, I was pretty much like done with trade. Because it's like, yes, you can get upgrades, but they felt like they didn't really matter after a certain point. I was really interested in the bosses initially, and then I just watched people kill them in like 2 seconds. I'm like, what is the point, you know? Like, why are you trying to make like a proper build when people are just insta-killing the bosses anyways? So I ended up rerolling SSF, and I played Gas Arrow Deadeye, which is like okay. It has the problem that it sometimes dies. I wish I had I wanted to go for the hybrid setup actually that Pastoran just talked about, but it's way harder to pull off in SSF. But I ended up rerolling Blood Mage DD, and let's just say it's pretty good.
Yeah,
been having a lot of fun
looks
on it
pretty
now.
crazy. But see, that's one of the builds that would just one-shot bosses as well. So you just ended up joining the one-shot.
But I'm mostly mapping on it, right? It's SSF,
Yeah.
so you have to most the map. I think it's really fun for mapping.
Okay.
As well.
And like the main complaint that I've heard about DD is that it's like a bit clunky. Like how do you feel about that?
It's a little bit clunky, but it's not like it's less clunky than the minions. Let's start there. And I think you get used to it. And the main thing is that it's not clunky in the places where it matters. So it's not clunky in like Breach, Expedition, Ritual. There you just sit still and like press right click and you win. So like it's a little clunky on like killing like white packs, but like who cares?
Yeah, I see. But like with Breach and stuff, like you're pretty much just DDing all the Breach monsters as well, right? So that's why it's kind of like that's why it's popping.
You are just like sitting at DHO Breach and like DDing everything that spawns.
Do you have good clear on that build, or like how do you have
it's good clear in those mechanics. It's like very made for like random maps that have like no mechanics. That's how I would describe it. Okay. But it's like, for example, in a ritual, it literally covers the entire ritual.
Damn.
Yeah, imagine if you have corpses, it just one shots everything pretty much, right?
Yeah. I guess it's like really good in for like expedition as well, basically, right? Like
Yeah, it's good for all the mechanics,
for the
and it's
mechanics,
good
yeah.
for like ultimatum. It's good for sanctum. So it's a solid build overall. It's not dead eye move speed, but it's good.
Nothing is dead at movement speed though, so
Yeah, I
aside for
personally hate dying,
temporalis.
so I would prefer the tankiness. But yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
I wish we had more ways to get movement speed or just faster in general if we sacrifice stuff, but you can't even sacrifice much. There's nothing much to
Yeah,
gain.
there's literally nothing unless you pass to the bottom right of the tree, right? It feels like I
Yeah.
think like every character should baseline have maybe like 20% extra movement speed for them to feel good.
Even like 10% would be good.
I think even 10 would be
Just
really
give us
nice.
ways to get it, right? I feel like.
Yeah,
Like,
this
if I'm
also is
not-
only on the bottom of the tree, right? It's like kind of
Yeah.
Bottom right,
dumb.
Yeah. Like I'm on my offhand or on my main hand now. I'm actually pathing to the movement speed on kill, or I'm planning to. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
gonna sacrifice everything on main hand. I don't know, dude.
Fair enough. I mean, fair enough. If you got damaged, like, what's the point? You may as well go fast.
Yeah.
how would you even solve this though, outside of like giving? I mean, I guess you could make it like a campaign quest that gives move speed, the way we get the resistance now, or
That would be
something like
nice.
that.
I
Make
feel
more
like they
items.
could just have boots have baseline move speed, like remove the mod and just have it scale up or something like that.
Yeah, like an implicit, but like, do you make
Yeah.
it scale to like 50 or what?
Even like early on in the campaign, if you have like 10 move speed, it's like a completely different experience than if you don't get
Yeah.
move speed.
The movement speed campaign is awful. Like, it's crazy. Act 1 is just like, when you get to the counts, whatever his thing is, like the mansion, holy, without movement speed there, you're just perma lockdown.
Campaign in
Crazy.
general feels a little bit like I've done it 4 or 5 times now, and it's like, yeah, it feels a little bit grating after that.
I like it, but it's like some of the zones are just like could be cut down
So
in half,
bad.
basically.
Have you guys leveled
Also,
after
what's
the
up with the
checkpoint
mini map?
change?
And sorry, go ahead.
Did you level after the the checkpoint waypoint change? Or
Oh no, I
whatever?
didn't actually. Yeah, is it a big
It's
deal?
so
I
much
did. That's what I
better.
did.
It's so much better.
Okay.
What makes it better? Like, is it because
It's just way less backtracking, and they added a few checkpoints as well, so there's like more places to travel from. It's definitely like way better experience. Like it could be improved, but it's a good first step for sure.
I could see
It's way
it.
better
So
for sure.
it's kind of like if you've entered a layout that has multiple exits or whatever, that means that you can go, like, if you want to return there, you can just go to like another.
Yeah, imagine like you got lost, you like ran the wrong way, then you find a checkpoint,
and
you
you
can
can just
teleport
go
back to the other
yeah.
side of the map. Yeah.
True. Did you guys feel like, because we all kind of ran the campaign quite a bit, I think, and I felt like some layouts were just fixed, and I do
Yes.
think that if the tech, like if we get the tech to actually like do a little bit of campaign min maxing, like if somebody
It's
with high
100%
movement
like that,
speed goes through, I think like once we learn the layouts, it wouldn't be too bad at all. It would kind of
Well,
be
for
like similar
example,
to PoE1.
I think it's kind of
like
like
the first
Affliction.
zone.
Sorry, go
The
ahead.
first zone you go left, there's always a chest there with a gem. It's always in the first zone, basically.
Yeah. There's
like that.
some are fixed, but some others basically what's fixed is like the relation to each like entrance
Yeah.
points and outro points. So for example, like in Affliction, right, where we had the diamond strat, it's like if this is here, and this is here, kind of deal. I think that's how it mostly goes throughout campaign.
I mean, Havoc already did like a sub 6-hour run with just like decent gear, nothing crazy or anything. So like we can definitely like get the time down as people learn more and more about the campaign.
Was he using any twin gear at all, or just straight up?
He was using like pre-made gear, but it wasn't like unique. It wasn't like the unique Dutch roll amulet or anything.
Right.
He wasn't playing the best skill either. He was playing like gas grenade, I think.
Yeah, some grenade stuff.
That's pretty good. Sub 6 is insane. Yeah, I've heard people doing like 8 hours and stuff with twin gear, so I guess it'll get pretty fast. But I do think like it's a little bit of an issue that I've come across. A lot of people just don't want to reroll, and the fact is, so when you're making like a new build, everyone's just like, oh no.
I
everyone's
noticed
just stuck on their like league starters.
I
Basically,
noticed it extremely hard because like people ask me, yo, your crossbow build, can I do it on Merc? I'm like, well, you can, but it's a lot worse. And they're just like, that's fine. I just don't want to level. They're like, they're straight up like, well, my build's gonna be 30% worse or whatever, but that's fine. I don't want to level again. That's how crazy it is. Yeah.
I
I
actually
wonder
had
if
the same
it's
experience.
because same. I wonder if it's because you have to go through the same max twice. Is that the main reason? I wonder, or if it's because it's too
Yeah.
long.
Too long.
Part of it, I
Maybe
think.
people.
I think it's
Did
too
you
long.
did you
and
regret
also-
going? Did you regret not re-rolling Blood Mage, by the way, Goratha, earlier?
No, I actually enjoyed the build at the end, but like early on, it was so bad.
You never thought like, let me just respec on day one, or did you already make the video so you didn't want to disappoint people?
I was kind of committed because everyone on my chat was like playing Blood Mage. It's like kind of like I jump off it now, then they're stuck on Blood Mage.
BM, yeah.
I rerolled, man. That shit was awful. At the start, I was like, "Nah, man, what is this? Like, it's like non-functional." So I just rerolled. That was a really sad experience, honestly. Not having the leech be functional at the start. But I mean, not to say that it's not strong, because like there's some pretty insane stuff at the moment. On Blood Mage, I've seen some pretty insane stuff. But that's
good end game for sure.
Yeah, it's an end game thing. But can you confirm actually, like, does the crit multi stacking thing work, or?
Oh yeah, it works for sure. Yeah, it's just a tooltip thing. There's a couple bugs in Blood Mage, but I could name like 5 different bugs right now.
Wait, are we just talking about crit multi on weapons, or is there another thing?
No, there's a Blood Mage node that gives you crit multi for like 40 life. You get crit multi.
Yeah, that was base as well.
Work on tooltip.
It's not base, is it?
Damn.
I thought it was base. It's like 1% crit multi per 40, I think. But it doesn't show on tooltip.
Yeah, 1% crit damage bonus per 40 life.
Is it plus or increased? Because like on weapon, I think it says plus, and that adds to base, right?
It's increased, but it doesn't show on tooltip, so people think it doesn't work. But I had people test it on DD, which is like exactly the same damage every time, and it does seem to work.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very obvious. There's like a couple bugs with Blood Mage there. Like if you weapon swap and you're wearing like a life shield, it'll turn off your overflow. You have to have the exact same life when you weapon swap. That's really annoying. Cause I was gonna weapon swap like Sigil Power and stuff, but I can't do that because it breaks my overflow.
Yeah. Sense. I just realized I didn't say what I was playing. I'm playing a Stormweaver. It's really good. I'm playing Spark, my third reroll as well. But I'm not playing actual Spark. I'm playing Lightning Conduit, cast on Shock, and it's been insane. I don't know. That spell is just not normal.
And I saw your prod speed. Your prod speed looked sick.
Yeah, like because I'm using the Widow Hail with insane prod speed and stuff, and 5 pierce and all that. It gives +7 as well to your Spark. But yeah, I'm dealing all my damage with Lightning Conduit, and it's just crazy. Like it just hits stupid amounts. My gear is not even that crazy, and I don't know. Sometimes it hits like 5 mil. All right. So
I've seen some clip of Lightning Conduit hitting for like 130 million or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like that guy had like 0 anything but just pure damage, I suppose, right? Like, but still, it's just like ridiculous. If you crit on it, then you can some insane numbers. And I think he was also running with his support, but.
What do you think about Archmage, by the way? I feel like every caster I've played, I've been like, I need to go Archmage at some point in this caster.
Yeah. The problem with Archmage is we don't have alternatives right now, which I assume are Templar auras or whatever the hell like is gonna come later on. So yeah,
I think the biggest problem.
Okay.
Okay.
So like when you're playing caster, you kind of have to scale mana anyways because you can't use your skills otherwise. So then you're in a situation where you're already fixing the Archmage problem, and then you just add Archmage in, and you get all the benefit with no downside.
Exactly that, but I think the biggest problem is that int is like mana. It's like it just fits so perfectly for what you need to do anyways, just like Goratha just said, but the int mana stuff is like in general attributes are weird, but that just positions it even better. I don't know.
Definitely. And there's no damage prefixes as well on gear, so just having mana as a damage prefix is just free, right? Like,
it's free.
You just get so much damage. It's like a triple scaling vector. Like you got EHP, you got damage, and you got like basically like regen, right? So recovery as well from it.
It also helps the crit kinda blows. So it's like
yeah. True.
And the gem level cost scaling is just insane. Like it literally goes from like level 18 to 24, you like quadruple your mana cost. So like if you want to scale through gem levels, you just need to scale mana too. So you don't really have options. I feel like they should really look at that again.
Yeah, it costs like 700 mana to cast the curse.
Yeah, the curses are insane. It's not even worth leveling.
It feels even worse as a Blood Mage.
Yeah, the only reason
it's
DD feels
absurd.
good on Blood Mage is because like your skill costs like 30 life and 30 mana because it's like level 7.
Okay, so you don't need to level it or what?
Yeah. Because the only thing you level is the fire damage part of it, but you don't really care about it, right? Because you only care
That's the
about the
flat
corpse
damage,
part.
right? Yeah, and level 7 is the hardest, like the highest corpse percentage that you get, or
It just doesn't scale. It's like the thing that they
like
fixed
not
in
at
PoE
all.
1, they didn't go back and fix it in PoE 2 yet. So.
I was
does
thinking
not
that's
make
how
any
PV1
sense.
worked as well. You just use level 1 DD.
I mean, they fixed that though, so
There's a lot of things they need to fix, I think, right now.
I
It
mean, they
feels
also
like-
fixed MF in PoE1, right? But
yeah.
we're back.
It feels even worse in this game, actually. Somehow.
Yeah.
It's insane. Rarity's insane. I guess we
I
can
don't know
talk
how they
about
did
rarity.
that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a currency thing, right? Like the fact that it works in currency is what makes it so mandatory.
All rares
It's
as
right
well.
there as well.
I think like the amount of like rares I've dropped that have higher tiers in comparison to before I had rarity is just insane. Like I'm dropping T4, T5s every map. Like
Yeah, it hits like breakpoints. That's what makes it even worse. It's not gradual. It's like it feels crazy. Because if you think about like the way the tiers work, the more you exclude, the better it gets, right? Like a tier 3 versus a tier 4, and then tier 4 versus tier 5, you get closer and closer to those 1 div plus items. So
yeah,
it feels insane.
exactly.
And there's
Rarity
just some items
colors.
that are really crazy, right? Like the body armor can have 80 rarity, the shield can have like 200. And then
Yeah.
the
obviously
soul cores are a problem.
scales rarity on
Yeah.
rings. Like there's so many like good sources of rarity that don't feel like you lose a lot, or like the opportunity cost just doesn't seem that high, so you feel you have to put it in.
Exactly. Like with my setup, I just have a little bit of rarity on each ring. Like there's 40 and 30, and that scales up to 150 with ingenuity. So it's like, okay, I now have 150 rarity for basically nothing because I didn't even try to roll rarity. I just slammed it on. And it's
Well, I've
it's
still
just
my
so
items
OP.
from before the patch where they nerfed chaos damage, where I just put chaos res in every slot, and I'm like, can I please remove these and just put MF in, please, dude? But I can't.
You don't feel like you need chaos res after the patch?
I'm running around with 50%. It doesn't matter. Not
50%
really.
is okay, to be fair.
Yeah.
And speaking of the soul cores, what do you guys think about not being able to change your soul cores?
Oh my god.
It's awful.
Yeah, that is not fun.
So
that
bad.
is getting changed, surely, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
think
I feel
so.
like everyone I've talked to has wanted that to be changed.
You
For
can
sure.
destroy the ones that are in, but just let us remove them.
Yeah, exactly. Like it could be like a soul core sync and that you could just destroy them, but the fact that like when you put one in, it just pretty much bricks your piece or bricks it for the next person. It's like
the main problem is you have like if you're like gearing for res, you replace one item, then you have to replace all your gear because your res gets messed up.
yeah,
It's so much better if you could just change your runes and soul cores.
Also, reselling stuff that doesn't have like rarity sockets in is like almost impossible. Like nobody wants 12 cold res if you had to fix early.
Yeah.
Also, they gave us 20 extra res that we just have overcap now.
Yeah,
that
as well.
we could have used something else in the runes.
Hey, listen, I'm very thankful of that. I'm not gonna complain at all. That's a great change. That's a step in the right direction. So I think rarity is definitely like one of the things that I would change with the game like right now because of how much it revolves around it. That's like by far I think the worst thing with itemization for sure. So I think that's like, yeah, doesn't seem right that they have all these cool things and it's so gated behind the rarity. I feel like as Palstron said, there's like breakpoints as well. I've heard some people dropping like at some points when they get like 300 rarity things that they weren't dropping before. I forgot what the example was, but it was something to do with precursors, maybe that he dropped like a rare precursor. Is that possible?
No idea. I just know I watched Fub's stream and he's definitely dropping some crazy amount of tier 3 plus rares.
Yeah,
he's like he's not even picking them up anymore. It's actually wild. Like and I also noticed just going to like 100 rarity even. It's insane. I don't know. It's like you could say it's not as bad because they're on rares and it's like dead stats. Often read, for example, prefixes. But then I'd ask why not just make prefixes relevant? Because on a lot of gear pieces right now, especially jewelry, for certain archetypes, you have like nothing in the prefix. So it's like I don't know. I don't see why itemization has to have like just put it into difficulty somehow, right?
Yeah.
Like game difficulty.
Yeah, stuff makes it seem like they're pretty stacked now.
There's a lot of it. So
What would happen if
purposes.
they put? What if they put like attributes and prefix, for example? What would happen?
I mean, it might work.
it punishes ES builds, I suppose. So that's like
Is
the
that a
main
problem?
Yeah, it's not really a problem. But like I mean the easiest way to fix it is like lower the percentage ES things on the tree as opposed to because the gear is like the one thing where it's like there's opportunity cost to gear. I'm not really sure what the solution would be, to be honest.
I mean, we can talk about energy shield in general. Like, I think it's so weird that because I remember when Jonathan said so proudly, he's like, "We don't have percentage max life on the tree anymore because we want you to have more of an opportunity to do whatever you want." And then I remember when I saw the first ES notable, they leaked. It was like the 60% one
The
or something.
60 ES, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, Jonathan, did you guys forget about something?
A bit much.
I feel like Grim Beast is one of the biggest problems with ES right now. That might actually, without
Yeah,
that, it
that's
might
the
be
main.
not that great.
I agree, but at the same time, like ES definitely has like an identity crisis. Like even GGG doesn't know whether it's a defense or whether it's like a life. Like if you open it in game, like the character screen has like live, energy shield, mana, right? But then when you look at the tree, it looks like it's more like in line with armor or evasion. So like I think even GGG doesn't really know what to do
Yep.
with energy shield.
Yeah,
It's like
also
somewhere in
because
between.
when you get I noticed that when you go into ultimatum and you take reduced defenses, that doesn't affect your ES anymore.
It
Doesn't it?
does. Pretty sure it does.
I don't know. I remember like or was it actually like in Trial of Tsukima how it says like you have no defenses or something? Like you take that, it doesn't your ES doesn't go down.
Really?
Pretty sure all those affect my energy shield, but
It
maybe
doesn't,
maybe
yeah.
I'm just misremembering.
It might be
So I
something to
think
do with
it's-
conversion, because you have like the everlasting emerald, right?
It was pre-everlasting, yeah.
Mm.
So it was genuinely like I was confused as well because I clicked it and I still had my ES. Yeah, that's free then.
Oh, maybe your CI, yeah.
Hmm.
Like maybe CI has like a thing where like you can't just brick your run.
Trial of Sakima is also really funny.
I don't even
Like
think
every
I had
ES build has like 15,000 ES, 15,000 honor, and then like you have a melee armor guy that doesn't really benefit from the armor in the trial and has like 2k honor. It's a little ridiculous.
Yeah. It's a bit imbalanced.
Have you guys played an armor based builds yet? Do they just feel like dog shit or?
No,
I haven't,
just watch
but I imagine it does.
I don't get it.
It's a bit rough for the warrior boys. I think that's the class that so far has been like I don't know, it really sucks. I really feel bad because of the recent nerf. It was just so uncalled for. They got that. They already were
Yeah,
like the
it's like-
slowest map clearers and they just
Melee
they
got-
just got
It was
nerfed.
like a
Nerfed.
bug fix or something. 'Cause I mean, I get why they did it if it's a bug fix.
It was a bug fix, yeah. So like a basically armor break. What happened is like it would chain off of itself. But I don't know. Like I think to some extent, you could frame it however you want. Bug fix nerf. Like it's just a massive nerf, and it kind of
They could have made like an actual thing. There was.
it could have made it an actual thing, yeah. Because then it's like melee's actually kind of good, right?
I mean, the best warrior build is just a Warcry build that runs around. Like it
Yeah.
becomes better when you have block. Like I think armor with block works fine, but if you don't have block, it looks awful.
It's
Like
so
you just
many
get hit by
points.
everything, stunned by everything.
It's so many points. It's actually crazy. It's
Block
like
Block
so
is
nice,
so
though.
good.
It's so nice.
yeah, it is for sure.
I think
The
especially
Warbringer nodes
because
as well.
yeah, it's really OP. Like if you just get like a shield with percent block, that's already 41 block. Like I know you investing into it is the obvious choice there as well, but even just being able to put on a shield, now you have 40% avoidance is insane.
Yes, I did have my blood mage.
I think my
Yeah.
summoner had a shield on and 3 nodes, and I had like 51% block.
Yeah, it's so
Like-
strong.
That's insane.
It's really busted. What do you guys think is the strongest build right now? Or like what do you
Spark
think
Lane
is the
Conduit.
coolest?
100%.
You think it's the strongest build, Spark Lightning Conduit?
Yes, it's ridiculous.
It's
It
between
is
Spark
ridiculous.
and Attribute
God.
Sector, I think.
Pillar of the Cage God for sure.
Yeah. Pillar of the Cage God looks insane. I've seen some really crazy stuff with that. Like the AoE just does not look normal.
Oh, for mapping? Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like mapping and bossing.
No, for everything. Like literally, isn't it like I don't know?
When
Like
they
you
put the
need
bell
obviously
down.
1,000 divines or something, but yeah.
I
Mm.
think
Well, I
the
mean, the
advantage
light
of
part is saying-
Spark is that it's not that expensive, right? So it feels like
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
cost, it's probably more cost efficient. But I think if you have infinite currency, stat stacking is just better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, the
think
main
a
issue with
Spark
stack
conduit-
stacking is this Hoa, right? Because Hoa is like gloves now, so you get both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That surprised me.
How gloves.
How is a
That was
problem in
crazy.
general? Like I have no synergy with lightning damage. I have no synergy with int. I just have enough to run a level 15 Grim Feast, and it like gives me 35% more damage. It's like okay.
Yeah, it's basically like the Archmage of attack builds.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking about making a bow Hoa character. Like, wait a second, doesn't every attack build just go Hoa eventually?
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's no brainer.
I
Yeah, I
remember
think,
dropping those
John
gloves
was-
on like day one,
Sorry,
and
yeah?
I'm like, this is insane, right? And then I link it in guild chat, and people are like, it just doesn't look that insane. And then after people realize it's gloves, it's everyone, yeah, okay,
Yeah, it was like a
every
claw,
attack
so
build
like-
uses this, I guess.
Yeah. So busted. I think like the cool thing that I'm seeing about Path of Exile 2 is that mechanics seem to be kind of way more OP than in PoE 1, if that makes sense. In PoE 1, things are a little bit more on the conservative side when it comes to power, but like the power that you get from some of these uniques is just ridiculous.
I think it's
And
just not balanced properly yet. They're probably
Yeah,
gonna nerf all this stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's just rough right now. And I also think that right now the difference between having a lot of currency and having little currency is way higher than in PoE 1 as well. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
insane.
That's
Going
a
from
problem.
20x to 20 div is like what the fuck?
Yeah. It's a massive
The economy
uphill
sucks right
battle.
now and trade for sure.
There's so I wanted to talk about like currency and currency strats, because I think a lot of people are getting to the point now where they're trying to get into actually like upgrading their build, making currency and stuff like that. And yeah, maybe I just wanted to figure out what you guys have been doing for currency first. So yeah, what do you guys been farming? How do you make your currency?
I've just been running breach. Basically, you need to do the breach boss 3 times, so you get 6 out of 8 points, and then you can go for the chance to get extra breaches and the monster density, and then you're just kind of printing. That has been the case for me, anyways. And then you just dump most of the good bases into a dump tab. You price it at 10x or something, and you just get dinged sometimes. And yeah, I don't know. Like maybe there's some special strats, but that has just worked for me.
I mean, it's not too much to do right now, right? It's like basically you boss or you just spam breach, basically, I think, for currency.
Yeah, but
I think
the way
that's
you do
quite
it,
tough.
I think is interesting, right? Like as Palstron just said, like dumping bases into 10x dump tabs, figuring
Yeah,
out.
true. I think the bases are really good for sure. Like, if you, like for example, you pick up like the ES bases and you just like transmute all of them. Anytime you get ES, it's like actually gonna sell pretty well.
Yeah,
I got a
actually
tip for
randomly
that, actually.
exalt stuff in between kind of feels good as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've been exalting everything, but I got a tip for that actually. When you drop like good ES bases, just buy a bunch of like the mana essences. They're free. They're like literally free. And just like chuck a mana essence at it and then see what happens.
Yeah.
What
So I
about you?
switched to SSF, right? So I don't know about trade prices, but I think Ultimatum is pretty good if you can handle it. Obviously, it has like high range of what you can get because the shield is good and the soul cores, some of them are good. But what I think is underrated right now is Expedition. Like I feel like Expedition drops a lot of loot.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you
like
been doing the vendors at all?
Oh no. I haven't interacted with the vendor a single time. Oh, that's not true. I interacted with them on day 1 of trade, and I sold some bells from it. But right now in SSF, I haven't interacted with it at all. I feel like it's probably okay if you know exactly what you're going for, but I don't know. Maybe I
was
just saved
thinking
the
it
currency
wouldn't-
until they buff them.
I was thinking it wouldn't even be even better for us stuff because you have like specific items you want. Because in trade, like I don't think the vendors are good at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm more talking about the expedition in the map and like the logbooks, right?
Yeah,
Those are
actually,
like
I haven't ran a logbook yet.
Are logbooks juicy, or did you run those?
logbooks are only good if you have boss, pretty much, I would say.
Oh, that sucks. What's the percentage rate on bosses though? Like what's the average?
think it's decent, but maybe I got lucky. Like, it looks like about 20% ish, maybe 15.
So it's like in PoE 1, yeah, like 1 in 6.
It definitely looked like decent, and like the boss loot is really good from Expedition.
Wait, it's like drops a bunch of. Oh,
It has Swollen, it has the Allroad Flask, it has Legion Jewels, so he has like a decent amount of good stuff.
oh, it drops Legion Jewels. I didn't know it dropped Legion Jewels.
I think
Wait,
they've done a
what
pretty
drops
decent
Legion?
job with the bosses, honestly, though.
Expedition boss.
The Expedition boss has the Legion Jewels.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Only we could search them on trade.
They're pretty good too, right? It's like strength converted to ES, int
Yeah.
into evasion.
Oh,
And I
right.
don't remember what the last one is.
I'm thinking of a different jewel then, because I'm thinking of the one that gives you like small passives in radius. Where does that one come from?
Wait,
I think
into
that's Arbiter
into
now.
ES, or you said into evasion? That sounds sick, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, the into evasion and people use on the attribute sector a lot. But I think Tuna is thinking of the there's like a jewel that gives like extra stuff to passives and radius, right? I think that's either Sanctum or
That's Sanctum, yeah. That's against
Sanctum,
darkness. Yeah. Sanctum's pretty good too, if you can kill the boss. He's
Against the
he's like he's tankier than like actual pinnacles though, I think.
Yeah, what happens if you do all that work and then you brick it? Like, I must feel really fucking bad.
Man,
Yeah.
I tried farming Sanctum like day 2 or something. I was like, yeah, this will be easy. I am so impatient when it comes to Sanctum. I was just like walking into traps and shit. I was like, I can't do this. Like, at least in PoE 1, you got like the movement speed to just like walk over everything. PoE 2, it's like, man, you actually have to play the game.
Okay, one tip for the Sanctum farmers. Apparently everything is bugged there, and you can just blink through all the walls that you normally have to like open with levers. So that makes it probably more bearable. But I haven't tried it myself. But people who have been
bug abuse.
people who have been farming a lot in Sanctum has just been going through the walls.
Jesus.
Like some old school lab farming, just bugging through walls.
Yeah, but do you like, what's the currency from there? Because I felt like, sure, like if you kill the boss, you get the loot from the boss specifically, but you have to be running relics, right? Because otherwise, it's kind of just you're doing carries, I suppose.
Yeah, I think most people are doing carries for Sanctums.
Right. Yeah, that's a bit sad. I don't like that. Like tying the value of something to basically like, yeah, carries and whatnot.
Did you hear
I heard
the whole
rupees
drama
are-
with no hit, by the way?
Sorry.
Oh yeah, the Chayula monk stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go ahead and talk
Ridiculous.
about it. Yeah. It's
Okay, so
interesting. A
for
lot
the
of
people who
haven't.
don't know, apparently the Chayla monk that has the darkness node that converts your spirit into darkness, it actually protects you from losing honor. So people are just doing no hit rounds, abusing that stuff, and basically, unless you got hit for like I think it's 500 or 600, you never failed your no hit run. I'm not sure if it's fixed by now, but at this point, people can like just do no hit runs with Spark if they have really good gear, so it's not that big of an issue. But early on, the first few runs definitely were done with that. And apparently, there's also some glitch that allows you to get every single boon in the game during floor 1. I don't even know how to do it, but apparently there is something along those lines as well.
Just every
think
boot in
that's
the
pretty
game.
buggy.
That's
It
funny.
definitely has a lot of issues.
Yeah.
But don't you get original sin still? Isn't that one shit?
No, Temporalis.
No, it's
Temporalis.
It's
Oh,
amazing.
Temporal is the no hit run.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. What the
Temporalis is insane.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, we are in early access. This was to be kind of expected, all these bugs and stuff, with a game as complicated as Path of Exile. So it's just funny hearing about all these
Was
things.
Temporalis expected? Like, I don't know. Like, imagine the meeting where they're going over Temporalis and somebody's like, hey, ARPG veterans, should we make an item with minus flat cooldown? What are your guys' thoughts on that? And they were like, yeah, hell yeah, dude. Let's
Isn't
fucking
it
go.
basically just D2 teleport? Like, I haven't played D2, but it looks literally the same as when I watch people play D2. I think it just wasn't expected to be available this early on by GGG.
Yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Well, exactly. Like
it?
a lot of the uniques feel like D2 uniques. Yeah. Like much more.
I did get
like,
that feeling the whole game kind of feels like D2 kind of extension.
Yeah.
Even the campaign and stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, well, let's think
don't
about the
know.
act, right? The first act is like the dark area, and then like the second act is like the desert, and then like you go into the jungle. It's like the same as D2.
like what I
Also,
really like.
Sen
about it
is like
combat, though.
Oh yeah. Sen's also kind of doesn't he like remind you of Churro?
Hmm.
Like his voice acting and stuff. So I got the vibe of at least.
I don't know, like I didn't play that much D2. I was really, really young. And I didn't really get back into like the remastered versions or anything like that.
I played a lot. I played a lot of D2 back in the day. I got like like the Act 2 with the tombs and stuff.
I don't know. The game currently feels like they want the game to be grounded in so many parts of the game, like 99% of the game, and then that 1% is like JK. Actually, never mind. Wink, wink. We're fine with just degeneracy. So I wonder if that's just because the game's kind of rushed, or if they actually want us to do that in Endgame.
I think they just didn't test it enough. I think the first big patch is gonna be like a huge wake-up call when everything gets nerfed a lot. I would be surprised because like some stuff in the game like completely breaks when you have like more move speed. Like even Trial of Sekima, just when you get the 40% move speed augment, it feels like the mobs are just not like ready for it or made for it. Like they just don't really react to what you do. So I'm expecting like big damage nerfs and like probably some mobility nerfs for the stuff that's like over the top too.
That makes
And
sense.
probably loot as well, because they were like pretty heavy on, oh, you won't need a loot filter. Like it will be available, but you don't need it. Like try to run a map, like try to run a single breach without a loot filter and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like the game
By the
is
way,
probably
here's
gonna crash.
40 singular breach splinters.
Well, to
Good
be
luck.
fair, it kind of was like that day one. Then everyone complained about no loot, and then they kind of went crazy
They
with
buffed
it.
it a bit, yeah, a bit too much.
There was
Maybe.
more than a bit. It was a pretty big, it's pretty big.
I think the loot day one wasn't even that bad though. Like it was bad in campaign, but
campaign
in
was
like
bad,
high
yeah.
tier maps with Atlas points, it was already fine. It's just like people weren't there at the moment, so it like everyone was like, oh, there's literally no loot. I think if they let it like 1 or 2 more days, people would probably be fine with it.
I don't even know why people need rares that early. Like, what does it change? Just adjust the difficulty. If they want rares to be special, then they can ramp it up. Like, there's no reason to drop even rares in Act 1 if you balance it correctly around magic items, right? Like, who cares? I don't know.
I do think the game would balance around not having resist cap, though. Like, I felt like if you have like 40 resist in campaign, which sometimes was hard, but if you had 40 resist, you were pretty safe.
But, I went to maps with negative res on day one.
Same.
Yeah.
But it was
a lot
awful.
of PoE 1 players expected like a rare in every slot, res cap, and all that, right? So
yeah, you can do that in like Act 4, Act 5, Act 6. I just mean like relatively, what does it really change? It's just another lever then you can pull, right? It doesn't really affect anything. It was just that it felt bad because people weren't adjusted to the difficulty, and now you have like 3 leveling items, and the campaign feels like a joke. So it's like,
yeah, that's true. I mean, it's just a big change from Path of Exile 1 essentially, and I guess what people expected. Like I remember having a conversation with Karn before we started playing, and he said like he thought that people were just gonna get like level 100 in 1 week or something like that, or less than a week even. And I think people just expected to get through the campaign. I think his number was like 7 hours, right? Like my first campaign playthrough was like 24 hours, like literally 24 hours. It took me forever.
Act 3 was a nightmare for Blood Mage. It was actually a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I unspec the node, bro. There's no way like you can play with that node during the campaign.
I kept it the whole time, and like most boss fights, I would literally not get hit and just have no flask at the end.
It's actually insane how like different the day one experience was for people. Like I know every like Titan, Blood Mage, even the Stormweavers were kind of complaining. But then you have like all the Deadeyes and all the like Infernalist minion players just like, yeah, campaign was kind of fine. Like it was a little long, but it was fine.
It's like a definitely balance thing. Like certain archetypes are way stronger than others right now. Like melee versus bow, for example.
Yeah. Or melee, man. I gotta say, like after playing Stormweaver a while though, like and playing other classes, aside for like so Monk Act 1 is like horrible, but after that it gets pretty good. But I think Stormweaver generally has like not amazing leveling until Act 3. Once it gets to Act 3, it's like it's not bad, but like Spark Flame Wall is not like ideal, honestly. Maybe melee has it worse, but I think other classes generally have better leveling options than.
I feel like the main issue with that. Well, like the main issue.
Sorry, Greta.
Like as caster, you don't get like all your gems until level 50, which is a pretty insane to me, honestly. Like I was gonna play Flame Blast, but by the time I got to level 50, I was like already playing another build. I want to swap off it.
Actually, Fireball is way too late as well. I feel like Fireball should be earlier.
Yeah.
Cool. Such a cool spell.
You went forced to the Spark Flame Wall.
Yeah. I remember unlocking it. I was just like already like, yeah, like what you're playing basically. Frostwall, Fireball. I guess as soon as I hit Act 3, that was like so much fun compared to Spark. But then I guess like Spark, like I just didn't really. I was underestimating Mana Tempest. Mana Tempest Spark. Once you get Mana Tempest, you just become Thanos. Pretty good. Was there something? Yeah, was there like any like tips like you guys learned from leveling? Anything like OP?
Check your vendors, I guess.
SSF or?
I mean in general, because like I'm about to level a new character, and I'm thinking, is there like some OP stuff that I gotta level with? Especially because like a lot of people are re-rolling. Maybe at this point, it might be useful info.
Oh, you get like a Pillar of the Cage God. You get flat damage rings, like 2 or 3 sets for required level. I don't know, 5, 25, 40. Actually, what level is Hawa? Oh, Hawa is 52. Just get some flat damage gloves before. Literally just take strength nodes, and yeah, it's easy. That's how I'm gonna level my warrior. It's like a complete joke.
I would say buy the dodge roll amulet, the one that increases the dodge roll distance. It actually increases your speed, so it gives the same time, but it just makes you travel further, regardless of your move speed. And it is a pretty big. I would say it saves probably an hour during the entire campaign combined.
That's crazy. Wait, what is it
called?
called?
You can corrupt that one for more meters, actually. Does it have decimals?
I don't know.
Let me check.
What is the items? What is the item called?
I don't remember. I just know it's like a Jade amulet or Dex amulet.
Sure-footed.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It goes to 1.2 on corruption. Yeah.
Yo.
It's really good. Like really good.
Level 8 amulet. That's great.
And since it's like a leveling amulet that you use all the way, you can just anoint it with like plus 25 stats or like something. I don't know if plus 25 is like cheap, but like you can anoint it with something useful, you know.
Yeah, cool. I honestly can't really think of too much from the campaign. I remember like trying. I just ended up going on trade and like filtering by low level. You know, like level 10, and at level 10 you already unlock like a +3 staff, and then I just used that all the way to the end. It was just really good.
I think like, just knowing what skills are strong. Like if you leveled with like you know arsonists, or if you leveled with like Deadeye gas arrow, or even gas grenades, like there was like a decent amount of strong skills, and if you didn't choose one of them, it was a lot more painful. Yeah. But like everyone was just basically playing the RNG, right? Like you tried a few stuff, and like you hope one of it's good. I do think that they will balance it properly. It's just like the game is clearly good, but there's a lot of stuff that's like balance-wise unfinished.
Balance issues, yeah.
I don't know how you. I don't know how you can balance it correctly, because you have like there's so many decisions to make. The difference between somebody who does everything right and somebody who only does like 40% right is so big. I don't know what they want to balance for, right? That's always the problem. It was also with PoE1. So
yeah, and in PoE1 they tend to balance more towards the top end, which ends up really punishing the low end, right?
Yeah, and I think PoE2 like, is even worse in a lot of ways.
It's a lot.
It's way worse. Yeah,
it's way worse. Yeah,
the economy is so bad now for like I feel like it's so bad for new players.
It's so expensive now. Like
just people who didn't get nerfed on day 1, who were able to map on day 2 and like scaled like this, and everybody who played cast on something or gas arrow or gas grenade or something, who went to maps in I don't know day 3. Got completely screwed over. Like the snowball is so crazy. Everybody who bought Divines early and whatnot.
Yeah, Divines are like 4 exalt one day, and then they're like 40 the next day.
Yeah, they went from like 3x to like 30 in one day. And then like some people, it's not even about maps. Like some people are like, oh, I fought the Act 2 boss and it was a really good fight. It took me 15 minutes to kill it. Like from the start of the fight to the end of the fight. Not the entire zone. It's like some skills are so imbalanced. It's insane. And if you are not watching stream, you don't really know better, right? You probably just think, oh, this is just how the game is supposed to be. Because like there's no way, like, okay, maybe someone does like a little more damage, but there's no way someone does 10 times more damage than I am, right? I don't know like what they can do about that, but I feel like they shouldn't balance around the top end. Like in PoE 1, we have like what Armor Brand Cremation, and most people can't even be bothered doing that because it's a lot of extra buttons.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of alternatives in PoE 1 where sure it's worse, but you still not have awful time. I think PoE 2 kind of feels like if you are not playing the correct thing, you will just suffer.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you're doing PoE 1 as well. I just think PoE 1 is so much more established, and the info is so extensive that it's easier to know, kinda, because everybody kind of knows what's good and what's bad. Like in PoE 1, you start, I don't know, Marauder, you go Perforate, you're like just back to login screen, right? I don't know. Same thing, kind of.
I think that's also because of the standards you have. I think somebody could do just fine with Marauder Perforate, but the problem is that like we expect to be like blasting by, and I was really hoping that Path of Exile would be sort of like the great normalizer in that extent where you could play things like Perforate and still have a good time. But then you open like, okay, like you open my stream and I'm just playing my Spark cast on shock, and it's like the whole screen just evaporates, and then you're like playing your little warrior. Like, I don't know. I think that needs to somehow be looked at. And obviously it's gonna be like they're gonna take down the top skills. So like it's just absurd what you can do on the top end. But they also do have to look at the low skills, because the way that I was going into Path of Exile 2 is like it felt like we were kind of promised like melee's gonna be good. Right, like they're redesigning the game to make melee good, like, and it just ended up that monk is good, right? Sure, that's one form of melee, but warriors are just.
I mean, it's the mace class. It's like slow attacks, and then you go into maps and you see that everything is just so fast, and you just get stunned, and you're like trying to cast your Sunder, and it's like just a shit show. And monk
I wonder,
feels amazing.
We're still missing 24 ascendancies, right? So like once we get like axes and swords, is still a lot faster for warrior.
Item bases are gonna change everything, I think, because maces themselves, like, they just suck. Like,
I mean,
they're so
just
annoying.
the difference in like the first boss, you start a warrior, you start a monk. It's like 1.05 attack speed versus 1.4, right? And you can feel on the 1.4 the boss. It's made so the boss cannot hit you. You auto attack and you dodge or move. The warrior like barely can dodge out of it if he perfectly times after a 1.05, right?
It's awful, the first boss for melee.
Yeah, it's movement speed, it's attack speed. All of those have like are so important for the mechanics.
I don't think so, though. Like, do you just make maces faster? Because I don't think they want to do that, right?
Yeah, I think maces are supposed to be like the super slow, like you stun bosses type of thing, or you one-shot bosses.
I think it's just a role-play class, right? It just is what it is, yeah.
I think the solution is just having 200 axes and swords, and it will fix itself, hopefully.
Like maybe it's just a weapon swap. Right? Yeah, maybe it's a weapon swap and mace later, and like you have a sword and it's like way faster or something. It's like missing some of the stuff.
That's such a big shame, I think, because I think maces could be cool as like it could be like the big AoE type of thing, like earthquake and that kind of stuff, where you just slam the floor and something happens. But like, as of right now, people like you see people what they're doing is they're using like auto attack or mace strike. Like, what am I watching? You're not even using a skill. Like, what is that?
Yep.
Like, that's
when I heard about the auto attack
embarrassing.
thing, I was so like, I could not believe that people were actually using auto attack.
Like actually auto attacking. But you actually have to do the same thing on monk.
It's the same thing on mercenary. It's the same thing on mercenary. Like you try all this garbage with like fragmentation and freeze combo, and you realize no, just auto attack. It's so dumb. It's like,
wait, do you just auto attack in Act 1 or what?
Yeah, there's like auto attack's is best damage.
Yep.
Man, I was so despair in Act 1 on day 1 because like every minion just died to any attack from a mob. Your minion just died for the first like 7 levels. And then it became good, but the first 7 levels I was definitely like sitting there being like, oh no, I made a great mistake. I got a reroll like right now.
But I wish that warning came early for Blood Mage, but it only came after I did my fucking second lab, bro. Did my second lab, I was like, here we go, boys, leech. And then it was like
If
my
that was
HP.
day one, if like day 3 leech was the same as day 1 leech, it would have been fine.
Yeah,
After they buffed
exactly.
it, it's so nice.
Exactly. Yeah. I was so excited to send for Leech, man, because I'd just been like killing myself the whole time. It was like so disappointing, man.
People are like
Sad.
saying that bot mage was like you play no hit and you still run out of flask before the boss dies.
Basically, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You're the boss,
Like
bro.
I couldn't play Fireball right when I get hit 31 because it costs so much mana. I had to
Fireball is
go back to
insane.
Spark to use my ability.
So rough. And it's funny because they actually like nerfed the little orbs the day before. Like they nerfed it between when they announced it and when it came out. It was that you could spawn like one every second, and then when it came to live, it was like you can only spawn one orb every 2 seconds. Like that was OP or something. It's like, yep, 50% nerf.
Bot mage is good endgame, right? But they should have foreseen this being like an awful experience for people, especially because they knew what the leech is, right? Like you guys couldn't know if leech was good or not, but like GGG knew for sure that this is not gonna work out. Like surely they did at least one bot mage campaign run.
I'm not sure if they did after what I saw.
Maybe not.
Like the thing is, you basically don't take the first node if you're leveling the first time. This doesn't make any sense, but
yeah, on my
that
DD
doesn't
character,
seem like it's
I
balanced.
got the first 3 nodes at the same time. I just ran one sanctum, got 3 nodes. I was just playing unascended until like 65.
Wait, you get multiple ascendancies for one sanctum?
If you run like 3 floors, you can just get all 3. It's kind of nice actually.
That is actually insane.
Wait, what?
And it's OP in
That is
Great League,
actually
right?
insane.
Because you can just buy like floor 4 boost and just get all 4 at the same time if you want to save time.
Wait, that's so good for odd leveling. What the hell? I didn't know that.
That's really intended.
Nice.
Damn, so like next time I level a character, I'll just basically level 1, just get boosted, basically.
I think what people are doing is literally get level 20 and get like 8 ascendancy points.
So you have to be 20, right?
I think you need access to the trial or something on that character.
Right,
and that's
okay.
it.
Yeah. You need to unlock the quest. So level 20 and then just buy a carry. Okay, that's OP. That's another really good leveling tech. Yeah, nice. So you just get basically like Uber Lab. Level 20.
That's not like something they're gonna change, I think.
I think what they're gonna do is if you wanna ascend, you have to be in the entire run. Probably won't be able to just join for the boss.
They should do that. I think the carry system is a bit bad, but at the same time, I feel like if they'd remove that, like there's so many people there because the boss is hard, man. Boss is not easy. Especially
like I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
he's actually like 30 million HP, I think, or something. I saw like some clip, some guy doing it, like 30. It's like 30 million HP.
No,
like
no, it's like 8.
Oh, is that maybe
like
maybe
on the jewel run? But
oh, is that what it is? Okay, I didn't. Yeah, okay, makes sense.
But like if you're playing like Gas Arrow, you just run out of mana, and then you have to sit there for 4 minutes waiting for your mana pot to like gain 0.2 charges per second until you can like proc the face, and then you go again. It's so painful.
Isn't 8 million more than like Pinnacle, like normal Pinnacle bosses? Like this?
Oh yeah, it's like difficulty 3-ish.
Yeah, that's like insane.
HP, maybe difficulty 2.
And that's for your lab. It's a little overtuned.
It's crazy. That is not normal. Like you can't expect people to go through that on like day 1, but maybe that's like their expectation.
I don't think they expected it because Trial Master has the same. Like Trial Master is like 10 or 11 million HP as well. Like I don't think they expect you to do it like day 1. I think you are probably supposed to be like level 90 or something in GGG's eyes. Uber Lab, but we all were like, oh yeah, we have access to it at 75. Let's do it at 75.
Yeah. 90 would be crazy for your Uber. It's such a power spike. Like
I did around that, I think, because like I was like definitely high 80s or early 90s.
I feel like
even when I did it was rough.
One too, because Trial Master you have to do 3 10-wave sanctums and then get lucky on the fragments. That feels harder or like more time consuming. So
I heard it's much easier than actually doing the second mountain trade though. Like if you just like get the fragments, I think. From what I've heard,
the actual boss fight, I think it's easier.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I heard. That the boss fight is just much easier.
Yeah, it is.
Depends on the build.
But you can still get one shot at a bird, so it depends.
Ooh, that bird is crazy. That bird is insane.
I don't know how to dodge it. I don't think there's it's signaled all that well.
I just
don't
stay
know.
at range. That's the only way I know how to survive it. Like
Is
I
it
don't.
talking about
I can't
the
imagine how you would do it
slash?
as Mela.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
like
said for
the
like day one I didn't do ultimatum though. So
Oh,
I
that was
haven't gone
painful. I
back.
did that. I did that too at like level 40. It was so bad. I was like,
Yeah.
am I just trash at the game? Because I died like 3 times.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think it's just blood mage.
Well, it was pretty tough, man. Like, cause they nerfed it. Remember since then. So
Oh, did they?
when we were we were walking in, like the magnitude of some of the debuffs that you were getting, they were like nerfed. So now it's like easier than what it was
It
at
was
the
insane.
start. It was very hard, yeah.
People are suffering in ultimatum a lot. Even like Stormweaver was suffering. Like the only people who are like fine was again just like Deadeye and minions, pretty much.
Yeah.
We're watching a
That like
Deadeye
describes the
afterwards,
day
one-shot
one
it.
in general. I think. Like either you played Deadeye or minions, or you didn't have like a great time.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
afterwards. I watched like Fubgun like one-shot the like the last boss in the campaign. I'm like, yep, this seems like it bounced.
Yeah, that was every boss on minions. Like couldn't learn any abilities because the minions just killed it.
You know, I'm doing like a 10-minute fight every fight.
Yep.
Are the minions in terms of like taunting also as crazy as the ballistas? Because sometimes I just put down a ballista and the boss will literally walk over to it.
On some bosses, yeah. On some bosses, like you literally just AFK. Like the Sanctum boss is a perfect example. You know how he shoots like a bunch of projectiles at you to like hit you to take honor of you? Minions just eat every single projectile. You don't take honor damage. The projectiles basically don't fly out. And there's like multiple bosses like this where they just eat the ability for you and you have no repercussions for it.
Sounds so
Yeah.
strong, actually.
But then the downside is that they actually body block you as well.
They don't actually. You just walk to your minions. They body
Wait,
block
really?
themselves, but not you.
Where did I get that? Maybe it's because I just expected everything to body block you because I
No,
played in a
Jonathan said
party
that.
today.
Jonathan said that the minions would block you. I remember.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not just imagining it. So
Maybe they
it's so
tested
nice,
it and it's
actually.
annoying and they like just change their
Oh
minds.
yeah. I mean, good thing. Have you guys
I
ever
think
tried
it would
running
be
in a
unplayable
party?
if they blocked you, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be awful. Because like in a party, if you're running around with your friends, you body block each other, and that's like the most awful experience. Because you're as well, like you're like desyncing, you know, like how PoE2 is, where it's like a hybrid, and you're just like desyncing with all your friends. It's like weird. I figured minions would be like that, and if it was like that, that would have been so awful. But yeah,
I figured minions were strong because I saw like the SF hardcore ladder and it's like all infernalists basically.
all
It's mostly
infernalists.
defense though, right? Like
Yeah.
it just allows
Yeah.
you to click all the energy shield nodes.
Well, like you said, the bosses too. Like minions just make bosses a joke, and that's like one of the scariest parts.
Oh, you mean like in like campaign and whatnot? Yeah, that's
Yeah, and then like when you get the pinnacles too, the pinnacles are a lot easier.
I think there's better builds for pinnacles. Like you can just cheese them with damage, right? But
Yeah, true.
I've noticed that they don't deal much damage. Actually, the pinnacle bosses themselves, like it doesn't necessarily feel like I'm rewarded too much for building defense in.
You're playing CI though, right? Aren't you playing CI moms? I feel like you're kind of warped a little bit on that one.
Like so, like when they hit me and it's like 1,000, you know, it's like you just shrug it off.
I
Well,
think the
yeah,
higher
you just hit me
difficulties
for
do
1K.
more damage.
Yeah, I mean, I was fighting Arbiter today, and like when he does his like slam, like my HP moves like that much. It's like I have
You
5,000
still get
mana,
one shot
sure,
by like
but
the ball thing though, right?
Yeah,
the
there's
ball
some
thing?
one shots, right? Like Arbiter has like two different like straight 100 to 0 one shots. The Sekima boss kinda has that too if you fail the mechanic. So there's like some one
Right.
shots that you cannot tank through.
Yeah.
Overall,
not
like
really-
the game is balanced around you having 2.5k life ish. So like when you have anything above that, you just don't really die.
True,
like
but I don't have
one-shots
any
at least.
defenses, right? And it's really felt in maps. Like not having avoidance is really felt. Like I can still die in maps because of the fact that just things can
Evasion
gather
is
up on you.
Evasion energy shield is so strong. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, like if you have a combination of ES and evasion, then you're like
Like a
Thanos.
shield.
Yeah, or a shield as well. I have neither of those things, so for me, it's kind of like, yeah, I have I have this flask which is so broken. It's called a melting maelstrom, and it's the most absurd thing I've ever experienced in Path of Exile. Like, it is not normal. It is. It's
Dude,
so
there's
dumb.
two unique class in PoE2, and like they're probably two of the best free items in the game.
It's
It's
so
insane.
absurd.
Wait,
for
it's
context,
45 divs now? What the fuck?
yeah, I mean, like I bought it for 45, but for context, you click it and you're full mana, and then you can click it 7.5 times. It uses 10 out of 75 charges, and then you can just like literally AFK a boss fight. He's like doing his like, and you just boop, boop. And you just
That was like
back
a
to
Mind
full.
Over Matter thing.
Yeah, because
sounds
I only have Mom now. I could drop my yes, and it's just like 7 times immortality. As long as you have your eyes on the screen, you just don't die because nothing's gonna hit you for 5k in boss fights, unless it's like a one shot specifically.
Yeah, I definitely think CI, like ES in general, is probably gonna have to get changed. Also, the conversion stuff. What do you guys think about like Everlasting, for example? You change all your ES into mana, then you could get it back from Everlasting. This seems like kind of broken.
It is broken.
Seems weird.
That unique is completely.
I honestly think it's fine if they add more ways. Like in PoE1, you have like Doriani's, Xibaqua. Like you have so many ways to make a build around defenses, like a special way to get defenses, or Fizz is extra on Pathfinder or whatever. Fizz taken as on Pathfinder. There's so little of those in PoE2, and they're completely all over the place. So once you have more of those build around defenses, I think it's gonna get a lot better.
Conversion stuff was like super broken early on too. Like you could like reserve your life and then go CI, and it would count as you reserving your life before you went to CI and get the bonuses on like Infernalist and like Ghost Ride. I don't even know if it's fixed yet, but there's just so many issues that with the way they did the conversions now.
I think they were doing it to make it like less complicated, but it just doesn't work as well.
Yeah, I think overall like it works from a player's perspective. Like it's much simpler now, but I guess from like the coding side of things, then some things got messed up, right? But I mean, I think the way that conversion is in PoE2 is less interesting than PoE1, but it's also a lot less abusive. It makes sense. I think it's fine for it to be the way that it is.
Talking about conversion though, what do you guys think about the 50% of all skills being like some weird conversion, and you have no, like it's like 60% conversion and the rest is just keeps being Fizz and you have no other conversion?
Ooh,
That's kind of weird, yeah.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
I'm surprised they don't add some support gems or something.
I even hated that in PoE1. Just like if you want to make like a tectonic slime, just make it 100% convert to fire. Like what is the point of like? There's no benefit in it being 60% outside of like taxing the player of getting the remaining 40%. Which in PoE1, sure, you can say that's like a balancing thing, but in PoE2, it's not even an option.
There is like actually a benefit, like because Fizz damage stuns more, right? So if you're playing a melee build and you have like 50% Fizz,
leech, right?
like
Maybe they were like
and leech too.
Maybe they were like, oh, they can have a little bit of leech, but the scaling is so awkward. It's like when I search for jewels, I always have to remind myself LE damage with attacks and LE damage is worse than attack and projectile damage, right? And stuff like that. It's like,
yeah,
it's so weird.
I have a question since you guys are playing attack builds. I remember them saying specifically that there was going to be elemental leech. Is that a thing? I haven't seen it.
No.
Only blood mages elemental leech as far as I know.
Attack based, there's no LE leech as far as I know.
That's weird.
It's like Lice Frag, and then there's like this blood mage.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the conversion thing is awful as well, to be honest, because yeah, I didn't really like think about it either. There's no conversion gems, right? There's no masteries for conversion, so you just have 20% unconverted. And you could argue that like, sure, now you can leech, but wouldn't it just be better to give attack leech instead, make it generic? Because why are you punishing people for converting? What's the deal with that?
I think if there was a support gem with it, I would be like, yeah, if I want a full convert, I can, sure. But without it, it feels like bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff with conversion though. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the build with Gas Arrow where you corrupt the gloves that normally convert 100% fire to cold to like 98% or something, so you can still ignite your Gas Arrow. Like that kind of conversion is kind of
cool.
fun.
That's really cool, yeah.
These like skills that are just like designed to fail are weird.
Yeah, Valorbs are way more interesting in PoE2.
I love
That's
Valorbs.
like one thing that I'm
they're
really happy about.
Cool. And you can buy the Omen to double corrupt too. It's so cool.
Is it a double corrupt actually? I wasn't sure. It is? Okay, that's sick.
Wait, but like it doesn't give you like double corruption, but it's actually weird because I've just been using it on everything, but I've never actually got a double corruption yet, so I don't want to actually.
So what people are saying is that it just guarantees that the outcome of nothing happens doesn't happen.
That makes sense because I
And then
haven't
it just
gotten
rolls
nothing
something
happen.
else.
Yeah, I haven't gotten nothing happen. Yeah,
Which is still like really good, right?
so it's like
not
either bricks or you get the good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
nothing
sense.
happens is the only uninteresting one, so it's nice.
I do
Well, I
love
mean, like,
Valors and
pretty
PoE2.
uninteresting to get a brick. But, I
No,
mean,
it's
fair enough.
it's fun for your chat at least.
Yeah, true that. Wait, somebody in my chat says that's not true. I had nothing happen with omens.
Oh no.
Maybe
Okay,
like
everything
changed
is
something you didn't realize.
But yeah,
It could be-
Valors, I think it's like the one system that they like improved on insanely well. Like everything has like something interesting to wow. And I've been valuing stuff that I wear, stuff that like could potentially be an upgrade if I hit this perfect like wow. Like those actually feel really, really good. On uniques, on rares, everywhere.
Definitely. I like a lot of things about PoE2, and honestly, like, yeah, Valorb is like one, but I just like how ridiculous the mechanics for things are. Like having access to like chain on tree, or just the fact that projectile speed is so crazy. I don't know. I think like they took the mechanics and they just made them so much more. Like a lot of skills just have much more interesting mechanics, in my opinion. The fact that you can get so much more AOE. There's more multipliers for AOE and stuff, and you can multiply increases a lot more than you can in Path of Exile 1. I really like that aspect, but like it just feels like we're just missing a lot, which we are missing a lot. But I think PoE2 is so much more interesting in regards to like how I want to build my skill mechanically, and that's like my main thing so far that I've really enjoyed, like from the skill side of things.
Yeah, I think they're just experimenting a lot right now with like how far you can take it. They're probably gonna tone everything down. That's like too extreme. But yeah, I think they're just like trying to see how far we can go.
Now, do you say that? Does AoE scale like in PoE1 or like old PoE1? Is it like radius or is it actually area? Because I feel like whenever I scale AoE, it makes such a huge difference.
So I'm pretty sure it's like current PoE1, but the magnified effect gem is more AoE, which makes it insane.
Multiplicative, yeah.
Is there like breakpoints in PoE2?
So what did you say, Kurata?
Is there breakpoints, like certain like amounts of AoE you need to hit like another breakpoint?
Yes.
Because there is? Okay.
Like for example, Blade Vortex needs to hit breakpoints for like radius. But not everything has that, right? Does everything have that?
I don't know. Maybe you need to hit 0.1 for it to.
Yeah, it's like a rounding thing. Exactly. Yeah, it's like a rounding thing. Like even Explode Chess has like a rounding thing where you need to hit the threshold. But yeah, there's breakpoints. I wonder if it's like that in PoE2.
That's what, yeah, I was asking if that was like that in PoE2.
Yeah, because I haven't really seen. Like it doesn't say that anywhere, right? Like it doesn't say radius or anything.
There's like no
that.
like. Yeah, I wonder if it just gives you just like no breakpoints, like more AoEs, is more.
I think that's cool. I think that's way better. Way better.
That would be way less complicated. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of it, man. Like we're just gonna. The thing about PoE right now is we're all sort of like blind, right? There's so many things that I don't particularly like. I don't know about like attack builds, and the fact that we don't have PoE Ninja to just go on and browse and just look at what people are doing. I think once we get like something like PoE Ninja where we can like browse, it's just gonna like snowball our understanding, and that's like cool, but also a little bit worrying, seeing as like how OP things are already. Like seeing people like 100 to 0 every boss in a game.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of work to do for GGG.
Yeah, I've been scrolling through the like community builds on Maxroll, and there's definitely some cooking over there sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
on that
like,
topic,
it's not PoE Ninja, but like it still has a lot of info.
On that topic, how do you guys like the phase now without Path of Building? I personally really enjoyed just like freestyling and not thinking too much about the perfect setup or whatever.
I like it a lot. This because you're more likely to actually play a build and test it out end game versus like just looking at numbers.
Yeah.
I like the like feeling based. I don't have to spend time outside of the game. I can just like log in and like try stuff, see if it's good or not. And because we have damage number on bosses, right? It's a lot easier to test. Because like
it's kind of hard though in a way because like there's not that many bosses to try it on. You have to have like a boss fragment or like a boss map or something.
The Trial of Sekima is really good at that. That boss is
Yeah,
like
but
a
it takes
good
so long to
target,
get. It takes so long to get there, right?
True.
Can you like log out and save the fight?
You can actually. If you have
Oh.
so basically you do the fight, you log out whenever you want to, and then you come back, but you lost the honor you lost before. But if you just have like 15,000 honor as an energy shield build, you can just use it as a target demo for like 2 hours.
That would be
That's
pretty
pretty
nice,
cool.
actually.
15,000 yes. You got your warrior with 3k.
What do you think about the end game, by the way? I feel like I liked it, but it's like kind of mindless right now, like the way you go. Like it feels like you're kind of just like going in random directions.
I
There's
like
nothing
the gameplay.
happening.
I don't like the Atlas. The way like
There's
Yeah.
nothing
it
happening.
loads forever, and like it just feels like kind of just.
It just feels unfinished, kind of, to me.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
Obviously
they
it
just
is,
threw it
but
in, right? It's
yeah.
like there's like the unique vendor that you can get something from that's like hype, but otherwise it's literally just towers and random map layouts. Like there's nothing happening. Like I want to
Plus,
see.
like,
Yes,
there's like no direction either, right? Because like there's
Yes.
nothing like pushing you in like a certain direction.
Yep. Exactly.
It'd be cool if there was like an objective, like some ominous circle would show up, and you're like, I need to go over there and like do
Yep.
something. The game definitely lacks linearity in that extent. Like it's very sort of like it doesn't have very many goals in endgame whatsoever. Like there's no goals at all aside for find the citadels, but that's totally random too. So not totally, because you can kind of like more deterministically find them by like searching land as opposed to water or whatever else. But
So
it's still
actually on the topic of citadels, apparently the way they spawn is not based on distance traveled; it's based on maps run. So even if you like spend time running maps in like your little circle and then you go explore, you're way more likely to spawn one. So you're not like wasting time by like running your juice.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
It took me like level 94, like 93 to find my last citadel. So
I still haven't found one.
maps.
I found 5 of the other 2, and I haven't found one of the other ones. I'm missing one still. And I've found
Yeah,
like
I had like
that's
3 on my
annoying,
map,
right?
but I didn't even realize it was anything special. It was so like there was all these pyramids and like these small buildings, and they all kind of looked the same. And then apparently this a little bit bigger building is like the citadel that's so important. I didn't even I didn't even know. It's like,
Yeah, I had that too. I feel like it needs to be shown on the map. We need to be able to like put pins on the map and stuff like that would like improve it significantly.
we need a
But
top down, right? We need top down. Let's be honest, like some kind of top down system, because it's always really hard to know where you are right now.
yeah,
You mean
I
like in
think you, like,
Delve, right? Where you're
a
going
lot,
down?
right?
Yeah.
Like Delph.
Yeah.
I hope they improve on it. Like, I hope they don't leave the Atlas the way it is, because like we have played for what 1-2 weeks in the end game, and it's already like hard to find where you are. Like, imagine after like 1 month. And I understand that maybe they don't expect people to play for 1 month or whatever, right? But like people on standard, like it's just gonna be a huge mess after a while if they don't improve upon it.
There needs to be more goofy stuff where like you like hyped about it, because right now it's so like boring. Like there needs to be, oh, back there is like Parandus's castle, and there's like his big city or whatever, and you find like triple gold, or I don't know, like goofy stuff, right?
Yeah, and like vendors that you can spend your gold on, and
Yeah.
like sometimes there's like an like sometimes the expedition has a special encounter where you can like talk to the guy and craft something in the map, and like sometimes breed spawns like a random Zolf. Like there, I feel like there needs to be like a little extra to break the monotonous thing. Like the base gameplay is good, it's just very like linear, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like I miss having a boss every map too. Even though that's how they want it to be, I kind of miss every boss every map.
I like hitting the big guy.
I think they should make boss cells literally just you go in and you fight the boss, and the boss is like really, really hard. Like make the boss harder, but I don't know why that map even has like I finished the boss and then it's like, oh, now you have to backtrack to kill those 4 rares because it's not even finished. So it isn't even about the boss. It's kind of weird.
And they should have like some sort of teleport system, like you can like teleport midway or something. There's like a lot of backtracking.
Yeah, I think checkpoints in maps would go a long way. Just have one at the start and then like 2 or 3 through the map. So if you miss a rare, you can just checkpoint back the same way as in campaign. It would make maps feel like way better.
Don't you feel like that's just kind of band-aid though?
Because it is a little bit, but
because it feels like, the whole thing about completing an objective in Path of Exile, it feels a little out of place, I think. And in general, like
it also, yeah. Go ahead,
You could just
sorry.
mark the rares to begin with, right? Or like give some sort of indicator as you're like where you're supposed to go, or make the maps a bit more linear. Or whereas like if now like the game is about you opening the map to click a checkpoint, that's
If
I wouldn't want that.
you see every rare at the start of the map, wouldn't you just skip 90% of the map?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna
probably
say that
fine the
true.
way it is. It's just frustrating, and it's also always the same. Like maybe make different objectives or something like that.
It makes it you don't have to kill every single rare, just like most of them. That way, if you like miss one, you'll not force to go all the way back for it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
It feels so bad, and it's also at first I was like, I hate those linear maps because they're just so huge, and then or not the linear maps, but the circular maps. And then I realized that linear maps are even worse because if you miss a rare at the start, you have to
bro,
backtrack
yeah.
even more.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so
crazy.
bad.
Crazy.
Oof.
Everyone hates augury, right? It's like a known given thing.
No, I like
At this
augury.
point,
It's
I actually
fine.
think augury has like a good layout. It's just the
Fine.
levers that are bad, right? I think
Yeah, but
the
you
layout
get
that it's like
rewarded for the levers, right? You get the
the
rares in the
rares.
middle. It's
Yeah.
fine.
It's too bright in there, I swear. Every time I go in there, I'm blinded.
Oh, the middle part. Yeah. It's so bright. It's so bright.
I think the worst maps are like Seepage and Mire.
I hate
Wait,
Mire
why?
is really bad as Frostfall because he couldn't Frostfall on the bridges because they're so narrow.
There's so many good maps. Like there are so many good maps. The problem is that the biomes are it. So there's like the grassland, right? I don't know what you call it, but the grassland is where you get Val Factory, like seepage. You get like augury and that kind of stuff. And it feels like that's like the 4 maps that you're always running. It's just Val Factory, seepage. Like Val Factory, I hate the most. It's the absolute worst map that they've ever invented.
It doesn't even have
Yeah, it's very
mobs
bad.
either. It's like huge and
There's
no mobs.
no mobs, and it's just like
The traps.
the worst. And the thing is though, like once you do get a good layout, it feels really good. So the contrast is important, but the problem is that right now there's just too much bad and not enough good. And they have the good, but they just don't give it to us. And sometimes I'm running maps, and it's like I never ran this map. This is the first time I've seen this because of the fact that I'm just cycling through just only grassland maps.
Are you talking like the snow maps? Cause I like that happened to me the other day. I'm like doing like a random snow map. That's the first time I ever did it.
Yeah,
It's like, wow, this map's really nice.
exactly. There's like a snowy peak or something like that. I ran that once. I only found it once. It was a fun map. So.
There's one. My favorite map is called. I think it's called Ravine or something.
Is that
And it's
beach?
just a really long straight line.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I found like 3 of them across like hundreds of maps.
Yeah. I think they're like spawned on base like the like geography, right? Or something like that.
Yeah. I
Like
think
so
they,
the mountain
the
peaks and stuff
vendor-
are so rare.
The vendor can also only spawn at the sea, right? Because he's like fishing.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
is
can
that
something
true for
it's
Untainted
Untainted, too.
Paradise too? Like does
Yeah.
Untainted Paradise have to be like close to water?
Yes.
I think it does.
Maybe.
Through. I'm trying to think of the map. The beach one. What is it called again? That's amazing.
Sandspit?
Sandpit. Yeah. Sandpit is so
Yeah.
nice. Such a fun map.
I actually like the
Really enjoy
seepage
it.
map on my fireball build because like it's like an indoor map with walls. And my fireballs like bounce off the walls.
But then augury is so much better because it's like the same except linear. You just run in
It's
a
actually
circle.
it's a little too narrow, but yeah, I mean,
Fair
I
enough.
guess.
Yeah, the reason
I
I,
just
like
hate
seepage
every
so
narrow
much
map
is-
from playing minions. It's you guys don't understand the pain in like the random like tower that you use to explore. Like the minions just don't want to go through the
Oh,
bridge, so you
no.
just try to run through the mobs, blink through the mobs to like activate the lever at the end or the tower at the end. It's so awful. Like minion AI, as much as minions are strong, I feel like the clunkiness of it shouldn't be the balancing thing. Like just nerf the minions and give us like convocation, even if it's like a cast time, cooldown, whatever. But right now, like the minions just sometimes get stuck on a bridge and it feels awful. And like narrow maps in general.
I hate doorways in general. Like narrow doorways. You have monsters just guarding the door. It's super annoying.
Yeah, it is annoying. That's like where I die the most is narrow doorways. I had a lot of trouble as well, especially with the towers, like early on, going through the little bridges, and you just get ganked, basically. I think they should rework that tower system. It doesn't
I think it
seem-
should be a lighthouse and it's just a strand map. And at the end, you click a lighthouse and everyone would be pretty happy.
Yeah,
Even if
it's an
they don't
actual
change
map,
it.
yeah.
But it probably needs to have like a boss or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Or
more
just
interesting if it had something to fight.
just a boss or something. Yeah.
I mean, everyone just puts in like a random lower tier map with like no juice, right?
Rush to the end and
What's
get
the
out as soon as
point?
possible.
The
Yeah.
pain in the ass.
There should be like some sort of challenge for it because you're getting like a big benefit from it, right? So it shouldn't be just like something you throw in real fast.
Yeah. I mean, I think the end game is just super uncooked, right? It's
Super uncooked.
yeah. But regardless of like all of our like gripes and feedbacks, I feel like it shipped out to be pretty decent. Like
I think it has a lot more content than I expected it would have, honestly. Like I thought I would get bored of the end game, but it's like what, 2 weeks in with like 200, 300 hours played or something, and it's like game's so good, game's so fun.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying playing my character. I think that's the main thing for me, that I really enjoy playing my character. Like, yes, I wish he had like 10-15% extra movement speed, but that's the only thing. Like everything else, I'm like, I love this guy. Like I just really enjoy it. Like it's so much fun.
Skills feel really good. Like it does feel really good to play. Yeah. There's more content, like end game, and it's gonna be perfect.
More content, more uniques, more spells, all of that stuff, and that's what gives me hope, because it's not like I need hope or anything, but I'm just sitting here like I'm already having fun. Imagine when we have like 5 times as many skills, basically.
And the good thing is
24 more sentences.
When they add like Druid, right, it's gonna buff like Stormweaver as well, because you're gonna get a bunch of new skills, bunch of new supports.
Strength int will be like a thing, right? Because they were getting strength in gems, and then maybe like armor ES as well is added to the game because of that.
And like sword,
we have
axes
armor ES already, but
all the weapon
sword
bases
axes and stuff.
Spears. There's gonna be so much stuff added.
I actually didn't know that the druid was gonna be strength int. I thought it was just a strength based class. I looked into it recently, and it's strength int. So what's the deal there? Like some melee. Because it looked like when they first announced it was like a melee archetype.
I mean, it's
like,
like volcano and stuff, like hurricanes.
Yeah,
you think like nature or something, right? And I think of nature as dexterity adjacent, so it's kind of.
I think of like lightning caster or like a totem caster. Like I think Last Epoch has this too, right? As a druid.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like an totem ascendancy, and then like some like lightning storms or.
You don't think Templar is gonna be the? Wait, no.
I think Templar is gonna be like a holy knight type of thing.
I guess
with like a flail instead of being a caster.
I thought Templar would be like spell totem, but that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought Templar would be totems too.
Maybe.
Well, they have 3. They're gonna have multiple senses, right? So it could be like one like totem.
I think druid, like they have to have a shaman. Like they have to, right?
Yeah.
What's the thing you guys are looking forward to most that's not released yet?
Huntress.
I was gonna say Huntress too.
Yeah.
Blade Fury, Javeslon.
Yeah, Huntress looks amazing. I mean, Inquisitor too. I think Inquisitor will be pretty fun.
Dude, Huntress Ballistas.
I think Traps and Mines are gonna be actually really fun too. Like when they release Shadow.
Yeah, Assassin as well. Yeah, I really look forward to Assassin too.
The funny part is I already have a trap in Path of Exile 2. There's like some bug in Ultimatum, and I got an item that's called really not finished, and it's a trap that you can equip. So sometimes I just run around.
It's funny they gave it to you, the seismic trap guy.
Yeah, I mean it's just an Ultimatum reward, dude.
Yeah. I'm sure the devs actually just put it in there just for you, bro. That's cool. I think the Shadow Ascendancy. I've always loved Shadow, so if Shadow's good in PoE 2, I'm happy.
Evasion, yes, right? So it's gonna be good by default.
True.
Surely they don't nerf the shit out of it. Yeah.
How much would they have to nerf ES nodes? What do you guys think?
I think they could delete them, and ES would still be fine.
I think recovery is the problem, isn't it? Like recharge and like Grim Feast and stuff.
Recharge is
the funny part is I thought that as well, but after playing it, maybe it's just because I always had a little bit of evasion, but it never really felt like a problem.
It's a problem for Sork if you don't have evasion. Yeah, it's a big problem. Yeah.
Yeah, either Grim Feast or evasion. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like I got my recharge down to like 1 second delay. That felt good, but even then. You can still.
There's a shield that makes you always recharge. I mean, it's a pretty big cost, right? But it's like a shield that like starts recharge on kill or something like that.
Oh, on kill, yeah.
It wouldn't help on bosses, but for mapping,
for mapping, that's hella OP. Damn. I didn't even know that. I need to look better at all the uniques. Do you guys have
I
any
think the
like
uniques
builds
are
in
pretty
plan?
cool, but there's a lot of like bad uniques as well.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of have to have the bad uniques. I think PoE. It's just PoE. At least it feels that way because I'm so used to PoE 1, right? So many bad uniques. But was
I
there
think
like
it's supposed to be like
any
some leveling
uniques?
uniques and then like end game uniques. I don't think there's supposed to be any that's like not useful at all. So if there's anything like that, then it's kind of a problem.
But it's more the base types. I feel like you have these intricate mechanics on uniques on like a level 10 with 20 evasion, and it's like I can't run that. I just can't. Like, what do you want me to do with that shit?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, a
But
lot of the mid-tier uniques will come when like Act 4, Act 5, Act 6 get released, right? Because they don't have the basis for those uniques in the game yet. Because I don't think we have too many uniques on like advanced and expert bases.
Yeah,
That's a good point,
fair.
actually.
That's fair, yeah. I didn't think about that actually. And obviously
I
all
think
the
there's a
weapons
few,
as well.
but not a lot.
Yeah. Good point.
That's fair.
But like the thing about PoE though is that I enjoy about PoE 1 as well. It definitely feels like some uniques, you look at them and just like one alk trash, right? But it's because of the way that they design things that, in my opinion, that is kind of like a good thing because they're not specifically designing for something to be good. Now it has sort of shifted a little bit in PoE 2 with some uniques just being completely broken. But sometimes you have that in PoE 1 where a unique is one alk and then some crazy shit happens and all of a sudden this unique is like mighty useful.
I remember
the game is like
this
fully
Settlers, right? There was the belt that everyone was like, "Oh, one alchemy unique or whatever," and then like few people, I think Buster made actually a build with it, and then
Yeah.
suddenly it like spiked up in price, and people are like, "Oh, wait, it's worth something. It's good. Let me
Yeah,
And
use
then people
this."
realize they couldn't actually get it unless they had like a low level town.
Oh,
That sucked, actually.
that did suck.
But yeah, like it's really interesting when like a unique that's considered B gets like popular, right? I
Yeah,
feel like that's like the best part of PoE because then
that is
everyone
by
can use
far.
it kinda too because it never spikes like too much if it's like cheap.
I actually like and I want to see that in PoE 2 as well. I know people don't like the kind of uniques that are just like decently powerful and they get completely outclassed by good rares later. But I kind of like Rat's Nest in PoE 1, or like items like that don't really have a niche, but they're kind of like for me they're kind of pre-made rares for people who either don't know what rares they want or are not as good as crafting or don't really min-max. I like those items to be in the game as well. Like that's something I
Stepping
would
stones.
Yeah, stepping stone items I really like.
Oh, you mean like
Yeah.
what's the ring called? It's not barracks, right? Whatever the combined taming. Taming is like a perfect
Taming,
Yeah,
example.
stuff
yeah.
like that. Yeah,
You could argue like
yeah.
Carcass Jack as well. It's like a
Even
pretty
La
decent
Hoop,
one.
right? Or
Yeah,
anything
La
that has
Yeah.
just power. It doesn't have to be super unique. I think those kind of items are fine as well.
Dude,
And
Lehoop would go hard in this game. All attributes, all res, rarity. Oh my god.
That'd be a T
It would be so
T0.
good.
Actually, zero.
I actually love that they left like I mean, obviously Astramantis is OP, but I love the fact that it's literally PoE1 Astramantis and it's like
1-to-1.
it's suddenly it's like the most broken unique in the game, right? It's
I
kind of
did
cool.
not expect it to be like broken, but then as soon as the
Then
game launched,
Hoa.
like yeah, and then Hawa and Pillar, it's like yeah, all right then. Like everybody's stacking. I hope we get like more like varied end game archetypes though, because it just feels like everybody's
Yeah.
like
Like
gravitating towards that.
Archmage or stat stacking.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
mean,
Archmage stat stacking.
released a
Broken
new game,
Fields.
people are playing Spark and Lightning Arrow. What else is new?
Yeah,
And detonate that.
I
Log
don't.
in.
I don't even think Spark is an issue. It's literally the Archmage mage
Yeah.
package, right?
Yeah,
If
it's
it wasn't
Archmage.
Spark, it would be the next most convenient skill.
Oh yeah.
It's
yeah.
like PoE1.
Yeah.
Every caster is Archmage. Pretty similar. It's a hard thing to balance, but they need
It
to
is
do a
funny
better
that
job.
it is funny that PoE2's Archmage is actually stronger than PoE1's though, because they're so stingy on multipliers. Otherwise, support gems are weaker across the board, and then they make this Archmage.
It's crazy.
It's really
Mana
weird.
Tempest is crazy too.
Yeah,
Temp is
yeah.
like
Especially when
40%.
I use it on DD where it has no mana cost, right? So it just has zero downside too. It's like I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking with stuff like Mana Tempest. Like it's such a strong skill.
Yeah.
They just have to balance
And you
it
don't need
with
to be
lower
mono stacker.
numbers.
the numbers game. Yeah,
Yeah, I guess that's
you can use Mana Tempest as Blood Mage.
I mean, you can if
Or
your 6-ing is
Garrote.
parity free
Yeah,
mana.
I put life tap on it actually just to make it.
Oh shit! And you're
Yeah,
actually
it
like
kills
able
you like
to
1
like leech
second.
now, right?
You have to like walk out of it really fast.
It brings you down to 1, right? Or does it actually kill you?
Oh yeah, it doesn't kill you now. So like the leech makes it playable actually.
Yeah.
I do think that like the balance is gonna improve. I mean, now that they actually have like large scale data, because like it's really hard to test all this stuff like in house, right? Do you guys use the bug report feature a lot, or do you not bother?
I don't bother actually.
I
I'm
actually do
terrible.
it quite a bit. I'm sure it helps in some ways. Okay, it makes me feel better at least.
Yeah.
We'll see how much they fix.
They're
and how
gonna
fast
do
that's
a
gonna
lot,
go.
man. Like none of this stuff that we're playing now, I think, is gonna be an issue like 6 months down the line. I feel like they're just so fast at getting things done. It's insane.
I mean, it's just a learning phase right now. I feel like everybody's just kind of trying to soak up as much info, right? Like none of the archetypes matter. None of that matters. None of that will stick around. It's just about like game knowledge, literally.
Yeah, fair.
Having fun, game knowledge.
I think that's the important part, having fun. Like, sure, it's an early access game. Sure, it is like unfinished, imbalanced, but it is fun to play, right?
Yeah.
And that's at the end of the
100%.
day, like if I can sit here and play the game 12 hours a day every day, I mean, that's all I need. Balance, who cares? Like, it's eventually gonna get fixed. And
Yeah.
if not,
I mean, right
it
now-
might not even get fixed. But like PoE1 is not balanced either, right? Like all that matters is that it's like somewhat like fun.
I mean, it's a good game right now because every stream I go to is like, yo, I hope this doesn't get nerfed. Oh, I hope this doesn't get nerfed. Literally every stream, and it's like, bro, we're all OP. It's all fine. It's like we're gonna be good.
It's
It's all
fine.
getting nerfed.
Christmas break. It's fine, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they are actually gonna nerf me though for sure. I think
Your build's definitely dead.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
don't
gonna
know.
be honest. I think DD needs to get damage divided by like 5 minimum, maybe 7. Like there's a lot of skills in the game that are just like. I wonder, what do you guys think? It's like they want you to have your DPS as.
Sorry, what?
Like how much DPS do you think you should be having like on like an endgame character in GGG size?
They want you
Based
to
on, like,
actually
how
fight
much
the
HP
bosses, I
bosses have.
think.
I
Like,
think 1
they want you to
mil.
actually. Yeah.
I think they want it to be like a few 100K at most.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like 400K.
Uh-huh.
Because
I
like
mean, that's so off then.
it is
that's
very
so
off. But like some
Yeah.
of the bosses on like difficulty 0 have like 3 mil HP. Like they
Yeah.
just die and like so fast.
They're
Even
joke.
with 300, 400K, they would die quite fast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my problem was actually like by the time I find my last citadel, I was just like one-shotting everything. So I don't even know what the bosses do. It's kind of sad actually.
It's just the campaign bosses, basically, anyways. I don't think there's anything different, was there?
I mean, like the Arbiter, for example,
Oh, right.
or like the Breach boss. You know, I get to the Breach boss, I try him, I'm like, yo, what are his mechanics, chat? And they're like, oh, he does this. I go in and just like, he just gets
It
Thanos
does get
snapped.
better on difficulty 3 and 4, to be fair.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
they-
I mean,
is-
yeah, fair.
Free's a fight. Yeah. Free's a fight.
Not online in Con.
No?
Yeah, I mean, there's some builds that probably don't have to fight it.
But you one shot the 3 as well?
I got one shot level 4 Arbiter, yeah, at the moment.
Damn.
Like he does
Yeah,
his
Lion
like
Connor's
first,
really.
he does his beam and then that's it. The fight is over.
That's wild.
It's stupid.
That's why I was saying Lion Connor, Archmage, or Cast and Shock is definitely getting nerfed.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is. Like, I
Everything
feel like
is gonna
anything
get-
that people are playing right now is getting nerfed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of cool stuff, though. I don't know if you guys got it, but there's like Infernalist, like basically Ward Loop. There is
Yeah,
Infernalist, like 0, or not 0, but like 10 HP demon form where you just stack like 500 stacks. There is a lot of cool
Well,
stuff.
Takes 500 seconds, right? To be
Yeah,
fair. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. But
come on.
it
like-
does make for good YouTube highlights, you know?
Yeah. You get a coffee and then you come back and you can make a clip or something. Yeah. But
Oh yeah.
Sounds pretty good to me.
But there's a lot of cool stuff out there. Like that's all that matters, right? There needs to be like stuff to experiment with, stuff to play around with.
When do you guys think they're gonna throw out the Templar Huntress that they talked about? Do you guys? Oh no, sorry, Druid Huntress. Because we're approaching January now, and end of January is already gonna be PoE1 announcement. So are they gonna do it in end of February, start March, or are they gonna actually do it in January? What do you guys think?
I think it's gonna be start of February for PoE2, and then PoE1 league end of February. That's my prediction.
Really?
Well, they have to be sending them out soon, right? Because they said 6 months to a year, and there's 24, so it's a lot they have to add.
Yeah. No, but
Can't be too long.
but they're gonna. I think they said they're gonna introduce all ascendancies, right? In
Yeah.
early access, no?
Yeah, by the end of it,
Yeah.
it'll be all of it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
So
so-
this should be coming relatively soon, I imagine.
Do you
It
guys
should be coming
think
soon.
6 to 12 months is realistic?
I don't think
I
the
mean,
6
maybe
months
not.
is realistic.
Do you guys actually think 2025 is gonna be released? Let's be honest.
I wanna
I
say
think
no.
December.
December or 2026.
1 year at minimum, I'd say.
I think it's gonna be 2026 December.
I think the game is great, and like to me, it's like good enough to be released. But I think for like them wanting to make a good first impression, they have so much work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be fair, the first impression was EA launch. Because EA is not
That
looked
is
at
true.
as EA, right? Like
I was
even
pretty
earlier,
positive
somebody in my
with the
chat said
CPU for the
he's
most
tired
part.
of hearing that like EA, it's just EA, but it literally really is EA. I think they should have just called it like alpha
Beta.
or beta or something. So it's like, yeah, the game is scuffed, but we want you guys to play it because otherwise we'll just sit here running circles and just keep scope creeping until we don't release the game anymore, right? That's kind of like what the development studios have to face. Like it's either we release it and we start getting data sets, or we just sit here and add the next feature and fucking never release it.
I think like Baldur's Gate had like only Act 1 for like 3 years, like in beta or early access or whatever, right?
Fine.
So like, hopefully PoE is not the same, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, realistically for us, like we're gonna play it regardless whether it's released or not, right? So for us, it doesn't matter too much.
I mean, the game is sick. Like you couldn't
Yeah.
fucking make me play anything else right now, even if you wanted. Like, or even like, you know what I mean? It's
Speaking
just,
of that-
it's just a good game.
I don't know how I'm gonna play PoE1 with no WSD.
Man, people were saying PoE1 is gonna like some people were saying PoE1 is gonna feel so good. I think it's gonna be the exact opposite. Just because it's fast is not gonna make it feel good.
You're gonna log in. You're gonna try
Oh.
to WSD. It doesn't work. You're gonna try to
Doesn't
like
work.
switch your gem while leveling. You're gonna log out. Log in the
Oh
next
my
day.
god, dude! Like
don't play
changing around your
WSD.
colors while leveling. Feel
You don't? I love WSD. It feels so good.
I
Like halfway
haven't
through
even
Twilight
either.
Strand, I had to switch because it
Really?
just didn't
So
feel
good.
good while moving, like attacking
it's
while
so
moving.
good.
Maybe it's because I use the offhand blink, but with WSD you can't offhand blink because you have to use the WASD to aim your shit.
But yeah, I would recommend like when you play a character that doesn't use it, you should try it out. It feels really good.
I mean, I played it through the campaign, the first playthrough, and it's like, yeah, it's good. But then after 24 hours, my left hand was like in pieces. Like it was like crazy, just because I'm not used to playing like shooters or been so long. And also one other conscious decision why I went back to click to move is because I thought to myself exactly like when PoE1 League comes back, it's gonna be so bad. Like I'm not gonna be able to play the game. I'm just gonna be there.
A lot of
like,
people, they're telling me they're not gonna play PoE1 anymore. which is
I have
crazy to
read
me.
that way too many times as well. But then I've also read
That's
I can't
like-
wait for the next PoE1 League. So
I
like
mean,
there's
yeah.
definitely both camps.
That's like I'm never gonna buy a Blizzard game again, right? Kind of.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
okay, bro, gotcha.
Like I fucking hate this game. See you next Tuesday though. You know?
Do you guys think they're gonna have a banger for the next PoE1 League or like
Yeah.
I actually think
It
they're
gonna
gonna
have
has
a
to be a banger, man. It has
has
to be.
to be?
I
Has to
think
be a
what's gonna
banger.
happen is it will be like there's gonna be a bunch of people trying it out from PoE2, and they will try to make a good PoE1 League. It also was like in development for 7 months, and sure, there was like a lot of work on PoE2, but like when it comes to like ideas and stuff, I'm sure they like thought about it a lot.
Yeah.
Sure.
I hope so. Do you guys think, so thought experiment, do you think that they will go back on some of the things that, so for example, if from my point of view, it feels like they were trying to develop PoE1 into PoE2, and then they kind of like realized they couldn't make the games the same, and then it kind of like left itself at a little bit of an identity crisis. Do you think they'll go back on some of the things? Like, I'm hella coping on this, but ball skills, self curse, things like
You mean
that.
like crazy? I don't know. Like, there's
No.
still so much crazy stuff around, even with those being gone. Is that actually? Do you think that's good for the game?
I think the thing that PoE1 misses is the fact that it used to be just goofy and you used to be able to do goofy things. And like I think the game now has become way more like everything is a stat check. Like it's such a stat checky game. Like what are you gonna do? Make your Whispering Ice build? Like what are you gonna play? Like Fireball Sire Shards? Like you're crazy. Like you can't do that.
Yeah, but that was never. I mean, a lot of that was never a build, right?
It definitely 100% was like before Betrayal. Like things were like insanely goofy. People were just playing weird shit.
I mean, that was just equipping a head entrance, of course, and then it made every build good. I don't know if that's the good solution.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the solution. I'm saying that more as like I'm coping, but I do think that like the increase in, so for example, like keep like adding like T17s and stuff that already like limited to how many builds you can play. Like by
for sure.
by so many, like it cut out like 80% of all builds.
But at the same time, it's like, how else would you introduce difficulty? And especially since we said MF is kind of gone now, how else would you give that back? How else would you like people have goals? I guess because what you're talking about were times where tier 16s was like the end all be all, right? And there wasn't really much else. So
There was juice. We used to juice.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that if they remove tier 17s, the game would magically get better? Like, I feel like it wouldn't, because
no, I think so.
You can run tier 16s right now, and they're not like I would say tier 17s are more fun than running tier 16s. Maybe it's because of the loot, but
I think you're also looking at it from like that perspective, maybe.
Maybe a little bit, yeah. Because in SSF, the like gameplay loop is way better, right? You run both 16s and 17s because you have to.
Yeah,
but
in trade, if you're not running
17s,
you're bad.
There's some
you basically
mechanics
have to
that you
buy
can
them
run
and
in
MF them,
16s.
right? You have to basically MF and T17, so it's like the only the 4 layouts you're doing.
Yeah, I think T17s are a massive issue. I played like a lot of SSF. Like in Settlers, I played like 800 hours, and took my SSF character like I more Mage Bloods and stuff at that point. But it made me like hate T17s even more. It's just like that gameplay loop of it just felt like until I did T17s, I hadn't unlocked. It's like you're working up to this thing, and then in like 2 days, I drop more loot than like 1 month. It's like what the fuck.
Yeah.
It just didn't make any sense.
It's also less fun making builds because it's kind of like, okay, maybe you can make it work in tier 17s, but then you want to give it to people and they're gonna make mistakes, and then all of a sudden like your threshold for what you can actually post goes so much higher.
Yeah,
and then they have to know map mods and whatnot. It's like, yeah, that is
making
true.
the loot in tier 17s being something different, like something like specific to them, maybe.
I think it should be more about the bosses. Yeah. Cut out all the
100%.
quantity, rarity, currency, and stuff.
Yeah.
Make it more about the boss fragments, right? And less
yeah.
about just being better tier 16s.
Exactly. I agree. Because right now it's just like more monsters, bigger layouts, multipliers to loot, and then the boss with the fragment on top of that. Like if you're not running T17, you're crazy.
The idea of rolling both for rewards and for like difficulty is like really insane too. Like the whole more multipliers on whatever June 17th. That's like why the rolling sucks so bad. If those more multipliers didn't exist, like you would just roll till the map is runnable and move on.
But do you guys think it would feel better if if there were good tier 17 layouts? Because right now all tier 17s feel like ass to play. Maybe that would help a little bit, like mechanics where you could actually juice and run Breach, Legion, and whatnot.
I mean, yes, for me, but I still think the fact that it's like the whole loop is like you can't drop them, you have to hard roll them. It just does all these things that like the game that suck about the game. Like I don't like going on trade, right? It's not something. I don't like sitting in my hideout just deleting my chaos orbs to these like arbitrary modifiers. It's just adds so many elements to the game of things that I don't want to do in order to get something out of it, which I think is just like bad gameplay. Like it's bad So many
Yeah, I think
people
being
are
able to
doing
roll
it, so-
them-
PoE
They made it
too
so you
instead
can't
of it,
roll
too.
them.
Yeah.
I feel kind of similar in PoE too, with like setting up my towers if you actually want to min-max
yeah.
it. Because like you would ideally run all the valve factories before you put the tablets in your towers and stuff, right? I don't do it because I don't think it's worth the amount of pain it would cause. So I just like whenever I draw some valve factory, I just keep them up, whatever, who cares? But
That's a lot of effort.
if
Makes
you were
sense,
to
though.
min-max it, it would be like pretty painful.
It's true. It is pretty painful if you try to min-max.
Are you talking about running all the maps that you don't want before so they can't be
Yeah.
affected? Or yeah.
Like I don't do that because I just think I would hate it. But
Yeah, fuck
it is like very like it is like genuinely correct to do, right?
And then make sure you have like 5 towers before you run a single breach or whatever.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I do think the tower system is like pretty interesting though. It's cool. But the Atlas does need a bit of work. I think they had everything correct in Delve though. I mean like I'm a Delve shill, I suppose. I think Delve was like really fun. The way that you're just going down, you know, you have like a goal, right? In a way, it gets a bit harder, and if it gets harder, you go sideways. It gets better and more rewarding.
That's the problem, I think, is you don't have like an objective, like a direction to go in, because you're just like go anywhere you want, basically. It's like just give me some idea of what to do.
Technically, the objective is the towers, right? Like finding a zone with a lot of towers. You're like, yo, you know, that would be like the kind of, but it's totally random. It's not like you're getting rewarded for time investment.
Like it needs like, oh, there's a golden tower. Oh, there's like a unique vendor. I mean, we already have a unique vendor, but you know what I mean. Kind of like there is X thing that's like goofy that only happens once every day or once every second day.
Or a map where it's just like one huge breach, just like you walk in,
like a hand. Or, yeah, exactly.
Bro. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing though. Like the Atlas right now, it feels like it's a modular system that they can just add to. So all these things that you're saying could literally be a thing.
Dude, I think, but it also does it just
stand for?
Is it just me or does it just look ugly? I don't know. Like I would really just like a smooth top down instead of this weird 3D. Like I don't know. It looks so.
I
weird.
really liked it in the reveal, but in game it doesn't feel that great. Especially because it's laggy and slow.
Cheap
and,
as well.
It's hard to find anything in there too.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about like? Yeah, I like the biome idea. What do you guys think of those like is bigger areas? Like if you want to go to like a snow zone, for example, there's like the whole map's is like snow. If you go like north or something.
I would like that.
That would be, and then like you have the iron citadels like in the snow area or something, so you can like actually target farm stuff.
That would also allow for, because they want to do diff cards, right? So like you could put certain diff cards into the snow zone. So you know that like if you want to farm a diff card, it's in the maps that appear a lot more in snow zone. You would go there.
Yeah, right now it's still like this like very small amount of like different biomes which you don't really have any control over.
Yeah, it feels like you are changing biomes all the time, right? You run like 3 maps and you're in different biome, and then back to another Valve Factory.
I'm always in the green biome, bro. I'm doing Valve Factory all day, baby. It's great. And help. But yeah. If they fix like the layouts and stuff, I think the in-game would like 50% better for me. Then from
How do you
there,
guys
it
feel
would
about
just
the
be
size of the maps, by the way? Because a lot of people complain the maps are just too big. I
think
don't
it's
think it's that bad.
I don't mind it.
In game.
I think the backtracking is the issue. I think it's nice to have a map that you can just do for like 5 minutes. I think it feels kind of cozy, but yeah, it's just frustrating. Like it's annoying. So for example, if a map is too big where it doesn't even fit on your mini map anymore, and you don't even realize that you already unlocked seeing all the rares, but the rare was like all the way down, so you have to you don't even realize, and then you're like, oh wait, I have to backtrack for a minute. BRB.
Yeah, that's happened to me a couple times.
Sometimes it's better to log out and go through portal from your hideout.
Go back in.
Yeah,
I don't even mind backtracking that much for some reason. Maybe it's because I don't know. Actually,
I mean, you play a blink build. It's a little better.
Yeah, weapon swap blink. I guess like if I had to walk all the way, that would be awful. I don't know. The maps could just use a little bit more linearity.
I feel like it's just missing. Not having a boss is feels weird to me.
I don't mind it, especially like when I play my Deadeye character. Sometimes I just don't want to fight like a difficulty 4 boss on like a map that is like 3 damage mods.
That's true.
Yeah, I still think I still think there should literally just be a boss in the boss maps. I think it should be something special, just like I said earlier.
I think that would be a good idea, or like a boss, and like maybe I think you could just have a boss there. Just
I
make
like
them
the
think here.
bosses. I really
I
like
like
the
no
idea of
map,
killing
just a
boss.
big boss fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the boss map should be, and then
Mhm.
every map should have a boss like they do have now. But then the bosses should actually be like a difficult boss.
That would be pretty interesting. Have it like be like a pinnacle fight, but except a little easier.
Yeah, they could just basically take like any of the campaign bosses and just turn them like jack their numbers up to be pinnacle level. Maybe it could be kind of cool. And one idea I had when like Postron was talking about like special encounters is like, what if there was like way gates where you take the gate and it takes you to like either another dimension or like a biome or
Goblin
something.
Realm.
Yeah, you go in there and then you got like the rainbow unicorns like in D3. Thoughts?
Some cows.
I feel like anything that breaks the monotonous thing, it would be good. Like it doesn't really matter what it is. Like sometimes you won't like it, whatever, right? But like anything that adds more is good.
You wanna, I think you basically want, if you have the light tower thingy where you show the thing, you wanna always be hyped to see what's beyond the mountain or whatever, right? You wanna be like, dude, I'm gonna go through that mountain pass, and behind there's that one dude, that one dude who does the special thingy.
Have you guys seen the vaults yet? I've only seen the vaults one time.
The vaults?
Wait, which?
Like they has a bunch of chests in it and stuff, like rare chests.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah,
I've not seen that.
What the fuck?
It was. Well, you guys haven't
it's like vaults or something.
It's really rare. It's like.
Is it just like Vaults of Hatsuri or what?
Yeah,
or
it
like
has a bunch of chests in it. Yeah,
it's super
I haven't
bad.
seen that
but
yet, no.
Yeah,
they need to buff
we need
it,
to
but
search
it was pretty interesting.
Maybe I have it, but I just don't know. Like I'm not
Yeah,
gonna mouse
it
over
doesn't
every
really
map,
look
you know. Like
for me, it was exactly on a citadel. I don't know if that's normal, but it was. So there was the citadel node, and then it was on the pyramid that's next to the citadel.
Oh,
check.
Almost didn't even see it.
I mean, today I like cleared like 20 maps in like a range of 3 towers, and then like when I went to run the last map, suddenly it was called Iron Citadel. I was so confused.
I think they can make it clear.
They really do.
Some things, some things are like really hard to see.
They're more visible than rares, to be fair.
But
true.
Think of blue packs being invisible. Like they are so clear in PoE 1, and like you cannot tell you're fighting a blue pack in PoE 2 at all.
Impossible. Well, you can fight. You can because they sometimes don't get one shot, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but like sometimes, like when in PoE 1, when your character is weak, you see a blue pack. Like you try to mouse over or whatever, right? But in PoE 2, like you don't even know it's a blue pack.
Yeah.
Unless it like doesn't die. And rare sometimes too.
The rare stuff is just annoying because you sometimes have to backtrack because you miss that one, because you shoot into a pack and one mob survives. You don't every single time have to assume it's a rare, right? But sometimes it is. So you progress only if you kill all rares. So you go all the way up, and then it's like, oh, I missed that one mob at the start. It's like,
actually, what if a rare showed on the map when you get near
it?
Rather than
when you hit it.
When you hit it. Instead of it being like instantly when you enter the map, like only when you hit it. That would actually be really good.
That's cool.
Good,
yeah.
Because there's no reason to hide it at that point, right? Like you already saw it anyways.
Yeah. I guess they don't want to make it too goofy because the yellow obviously makes it look goofy, and they want it to look more
RP reasons.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it is a little bit of an immersion thing, I suppose, like the way they want to go. But I wanted to ask you boys, like specifically, if there was a mechanic that they would bring from Path of Exile 1 to Path of Exile 2, which mechanic would you choose? Like, if you had to pick first?
Obviously, betrayal, so we can get jumped on. That was so fun.
I actually like betrayal. I would agree with that.
Interesting.
I'm trying to think, right? Like, I feel like a lot of people would say Legion, but to me, Legion is like not that appealing. I want to say if they did it well, Harvest would be cool because it would just allow them to add like a lot of cool stuff. But I have a feeling that Harvest is the stigma that people would expect it to be like a crafting mechanism.
A crafting thing, yeah.
So
dude, Harvest should be like it's on the Atlas. There's like this kingdom of flowers or whatever, right? And you find it, and then there's like these huge harvest zones, and that's the only way to get harvest juice.
So you have to craft in the map.
Beastfear can be good too. Like Beastfear can be really interesting too. You like hunt beasts across the atlas or something, and for like a recipe or something like that. Beastfear.
Oh yeah,
really
like
cool.
Pokemon signs on
cool,
over
yeah.
certain maps. You have like these Pokemon, like a Pokeball, and then oh, I can get a foil over there. Fucking go.
Get like Hunter and OSRS, just have it like go from like node to node, and you're following a trail, and then you get to him, and then you just got
You have like the Witcher. You're like the Witcher
following
hunting.
the scent. Yeah. Beastery could be cool. I think Beastery would be like coolest ones.
I think Delve would be good, like a secondary endgame system. It doesn't need to be Delve, but like something that's not maps, but it's like endgame.
You like find a mine randomly and you can go into it.
Maybe
go underground.
Yeah, I mean for me,
I don't know if you guys played Dwarven Realms, but they have basically Delve there, and it's just like a secondary system that's like in line with maps that you just progress at the same time.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, for me it would be Delve for sure. Actually, now that I think about it, but mostly because the reason why I like Delve is because it's like the only place where you can kind of like measure your build against other people's builds in a way, right? Like if you overcome, of course, like within the context of what Delve is, right? But it's just cool to have like that sort of like competition between like, yeah, no, my shit's better. That was like the real fun thing about like the Delve progression when we started learning it. Is
I think there needs to be more letters just for fun, like /kills letter. There should, like, when you open like a letter, there should be a way to see how many arbiters you killed, how many sanctums you ran. Like
ladder for everything.
They already can track this stuff, I'm pretty sure, at least for most of it. And does it matter to everyone? No, but it would just be cool to see like this nerd like Crouching Tuna has killed like 5 million sanctum bosses, right?
And have it be like a global
like
announcement too. Like, this degenerate killed 500 bosses, and everyone's like, whoa, he's a degenerate. He's like, yeah, I'm degenerate, dude.
Obviously, it's not like high priority or anything, but it would just be cool.
It's so cool. I think ladders are so important to ARPGs because it's the only way that we can kind of like PvP, in a way. Like, even though it's like PvE, it's still like kind of PvP, and it really like. So for Delve, it like created a whole community. It was like a huge thing. We had Discords, like there was people, we called each other Delvers. It's cool. And it kind of like really died down once they reworked it.
The other option is adding training dummies, and then we can measure DPS.
Yeah, you could see like a leaderboard for who has the highest DPS, I suppose. I mean,
Torchlight Infinite again.
Torchlight Infinite's like really bad because people just make horrible builds that just have high
that's
DPS.
so bad. The same would happen in PoE 2. It's just like fucking
target builds.
Yeah,
people
did that in PoE Ninja already in PoE 1.
No AoE, no AoE, no move speed, and they would just literally, it's like...
Postron knows, bro. You have all these people coming in your chat like, wow, there's this guy who has like 5 trillion damage, bro. You're like such a noob.
Did you see the Billy version? He made a strictly better version. Holy shit. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know that I could strip all my defenses and all my movement speed and get 5 times damage. I didn't know.
I mean, that's why like Delve is good, because it's like it is that, but in the context, it has to work within the context of Delve, right? Or so you can't like cheese it like a dummy or something. You still have to have a good build outside of that. So yeah,
I think it's important to have different systems that reward different gameplay. Like I've seen people oftentimes complain like, oh, I don't like Tota or Blight. It's not playing RPG. I think those things are pretty important in general. Maybe not exactly like Blight or Tota, even though you're probably getting Tota, right? But just having stuff that feels different to do is always good, because everyone likes different stuff in the game, and having more options, I think, is just always
for sure. Option.
I can't wait for Tota in Act 4.
Yeah, they're like, we know that's coming for sure. That's definitely coming. Expect that one.
People loved Tota, like the more casual player base. Like, I feel like every single person, or not okay, maybe like 70% of people I traded with were in trial. So it speaks for itself, right?
It's kind of a chill thing to do, like while doing other things.
Exactly. You have like a more approachable way to basically get things, I suppose, because it's like you could just farm currency. Like it was kind of like I don't mean to say this in like in the meaning way, but I think PoE2 misses the janitor jobs, like the go and farm essence, like things like that, where you're just like, hey, it's not much, but it's honest work, like, because how are people gonna pull themselves out of poverty when they have to spend like 1,000 in divine like exalts just to access the ritual tree? Like, that's crazy.
Isn't there like
Yeah,
meme
PoE2
right
is
now that
weird.
every
right now.
item is like 1x, 1000x, or like 1000 divines?
Yeah,
I was looking at item history, and like it went from like 2 exalt to like 2 divine, like a window.
But I think that's also because of what you said earlier, Ventura, because the mid game uniques aren't really in yet. I think that's also a big reason for that. Because there's kind of like the boss uniques in and the early uniques. So I think what you said is 100% right.
Yeah.
I do agree with Tuna though. Like there needs to be something you can like. I feel like if I were to start SC trade right now, I would earn very little currency progressing from tier 1 to tier 10 maps because you don't even get like breeze splinters or like logbooks. Maybe you get logbooks, but they cannot spawn a boss. Like you don't get like half of the rewards from the mechanics themselves. So
and your rares are worse as well.
And your rares are worse, and you get fewer of them because
rarity, so you're like finding way less currency.
Just give people like an essence type of stuff, or
Beast
ultimatum
essence,
can be
stuff
okay
like
at that, I guess. Maybe like if you farm like soul cores at like lower level, you could make currency, but then you are not progressing your atlas.
Yeah. For example,
and it's pretty hard for early map.
That too, yeah. Ultimatum's difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, Zen's doing ultimatum and he's having like quite a lot of success with it, and I think that's like the entryway into endgame for anybody who's like really struggling is ultimatum, probably, just farm soul cores and stuff. But it's pretty difficult.
Like if you are struggling, you will just die and lose.
Yeah, it's
all your
difficult. That's the problem, yeah.
Sanctum could be pretty good at too, I think, even if you're doing like floor 3 Sanctum. Because you get a lot of jewels.
I feel like you don't get
the jewels sell for a lot if you get anything.
Maybe that's true, actually.
Yeah.
Like quiver bonus jewels and stuff.
I heard if you get like a quiver jewel, it sells even if it doesn't have anything else. So maybe you can make your currency that way.
I haven't really found one yet though from my time mapping.
You guys do you guys wriggle your jewels or no?
Oh, hell no.
I don't.
Adorned? Is it gonna be? It's pretty rare,
OP.
actually.
It is
Adorned
OP
is so
for
rare.
sure.
Yeah, it is.
So rare.
Where do you get Adorned
the
from?
mods are so insane on jewels that like I guarantee you that every build, if you could like import builds, would use Adorned.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adorned would be like the thing is like jewels are already like one jewel socket is worth like 8 passives in terms of power, right?
It's wild that they somehow made them stronger than PoE1.
Yeah, they're so OP. Like my tree is just like pathing 3 points for jewel sockets all over the place because
they also have stats you can't get anywhere else either, like weather effect, for example. There's only like one node on the tree. Like weather
jewel rolls like 2% mana and life on kill. Like, isn't that insane? Like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
You know, that reminds me.
30 spirit reservation.
That reminds me. Do you guys feel like there's something missing in terms of capping a little bit of missing res or a little bit of missing attributes? Where, for example, jewels would fill that in PoE1, and you can't really roll res or attributes anymore. Medium cluster jewels, right? Like jewels in general, tattoos. There's like something missing there where it's kind of awkward.
Yeah,
I mean, the rest in general is missing on tree completely, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there wouldn't be a big problem adding that onto the tree, even if the nodes are not like super efficient. Like, let's say 2 points for like 8 all res or something.
There's like one res node near the witch. It's just really good, but yeah, there's not much at all.
In PoE1, if you want to, you can spend like 4 points and get like 40 all res on like a lot of builds. Not every build, like Shadow can't really get it.
I was actually thinking as well. Do you guys know the highway through the middle? For example, if you go duelist, there's like not like in PoE1 where you only have it in like you don't have 6 parts of the tree. You have one down the middle, right straight up. Like you have a new pathway. And I was thinking maybe make those, for example, on the right side, dex, on the left side, strength, top side, int or something, give like +10 or something to kind of play into that a little bit more, give you a little bit more wiggle room if you fit into what they want you to play, kind of.
I kind of agree because especially while leveling, if you are not leveling like a pure archetype, like pure int, pure dex, if you're trying to play hybrid, I feel like you cannot equip like anything. It feels pretty miserable. Like all the like between level like 20 to like 50 items, I feel like should be reduced in attribute requirements by like 30%.
Maybe
feels
like giving
bad.
characters more base stats, because I feel like even if you're playing like pure int as a caster, you don't have enough int if you go through like the soul damage and then you go through like the damage at the
Yeah.
top. You have to go
True.
through the attributes on the side instead.
I think they wanted to make attributes matter, and they do, but sometimes, like, since we cannot really force them outside of just like clicking travel nodes, it feels a little bad.
You guys think attributes are in a good place? Like the intrinsic attribute mods to me make no sense. Like I understand life a little bit. I don't really understand mana. I don't really actually I don't even understand life. I think it should literally just be something like
I think it's
armor
physical
ES
damage.
evasion.
No, I think
They
it's
say
physical damage,
limiting.
spell damage, projectile damage, or something.
Something like that, yeah, but it can't be like mana or accuracy. It's so awkward. It's so like such a nothing burger and so specific, kind of. And then you have strength characters who just have more life, and now they're like they can't like if they go ES, now they have nothing. Mana archetypes want int, but casters should not all be about mana, I guess, but they all have to get 200 int. It's so awkward. And then you have accuracy, which is like we don't even know how much accuracy you need right now. It feels like you always have enough accuracy anyways, so it's like a lost stat. I don't know. It seems so awkward right now.
I mean, my ranger gets exactly 12, like 212 dex or whatever, and then everything goes to strength because, like, who cares about accuracy?
Yeah.
I feel
It feels like D2 in that way, which is kind of weird.
Charge damage would be okay. I think the idea you had, like armor evasion, but the problem is like you don't want to give int to ES, right?
Well, you could literally balance the whole like you said, you could literally remove all the ES nodes and just have int have that role.
And then Hova Instacker goes hard. But I mean, I do think that it's better than the way it is right now, though. What you're suggesting.
I was like playing a blood mage, like, do I go? I can't, like, I have to use mana. So like that's part of the reason why Archmage is so good, because you're forced into int. It takes a lot of mana, and then you need mana regen.
I think the only spells that can get away with like without mana is like summoners. But then you still have to get the int because all the summoner gems are pure int. So like what do? Like you still need to have like 180 or whatever, 200 if you want level 20 gem.
Mana is a huge problem for attack builds now.
Yeah.
Attack builds really struggle on mana, which is a shame because
I will say that one mana leech roll completely solved it for me. Because I mean, maybe on full conversion builds, but if you have like a little bit of fizz and you have one mana leech roll, I feel like it's like
the problem is when like you accidentally exalt +4 on your bow, your build actually gets big.
Yeah,
it's so
that's
bad.
true. That's
like your
true.
mana cost suddenly like doubles at least.
Yep.
It should never feel. I feel like it should never feel bad to upgrade your gear, and that kind of feels like that right now. Like I had like drop my plus levels, so like
I think the solution to this is plus levels on gear shouldn't increase mana cost, and I think it fixes most of the problems.
Or just cap it after 20 or 21 now.
Or that.
I think the attribute problem is like especially also felt on hybrid classes. And when I tried monk, I couldn't equip any of the hybrid bases until like I started getting like dex rolls, and it was horrible.
I will say for endgame, it's way more cozy though to be a hybrid class.
Yeah. Once you get a bunch of attributes and stuff, like fine, but
endgame you have the tools to solve it, even if it was a problem.
Exactly.
Right. Like the problem is it like in like the not like early acts, but like Act 3 to Act 6, I would. Is when it feels
I guess
bad.
I guess to kind of like play devil's advocate for GGG though, like maybe that's how they want it to be. They wanted for you to be a choice to get +2 levels. They wanted for you to be a choice to upgrade your skill to level 20 from 18 or whatever. So we're used to bigger level just being better, but maybe they want it to be another choice. I don't know.
I mean, I don't level my gas arrow, for example. So like,
yeah,
they did. If that's the goal, they did accomplish it. I feel like it feels bad when, like, let's say you slam a quiver and it's plus projectiles and it's break. Someone said that like they were like slamming their amulet and hit +3 to spells, and they had to like get a new amulet because they couldn't afford the cost anymore.
Yeah,
it feels bad.
But Manny has a good point that maybe you can only roll so many plus levels because it has a downside, right? Because clearly, like +6 is better than any other mod on the staff, but you know the downside is there.
Yeah. I guess if the mod would say 70% or 80% more damage, but downside costs 30% more mana, we wouldn't bat an eye. We would be like, oh, that's a cool payoff. But since we see it as levels, it's kind of like weird.
It's also the thing, like, it's unintuitive, right? Like, if you're a new player and you're getting plus levels, you're like, this is good.
Yeah.
But then your build sucks. Like, I don't know. Doesn't make sense.
True.
I do think that tuning is just weird on the mana cost. Like, that it kind of comes down to that. Like, I do understand that they want mana cost to be like a problem, but sometimes it just scales too fast.
Yeah.
Also, I think we should be able to down level our gems.
Yeah,
for sure.
The gem system's a bit
Oh,
awkward.
100%.
I don't like the whole system in general. Like, it's so cluttery.
I like the pressing G and it's all there, and I like that part.
No, not that. Sorry, I meant the uncut stuff. Sorry.
Yeah.
It gets better if you filter
the
it out.
gem system. The gem system itself is great. Yeah, sorry.
I should get like lower level gems with a higher level gem, because I'm in a situation where like I was leveling an alt and I didn't have any like low level gems to cut.
Yeah, supports feel amazing, right? Because you just pick up the level 3 supports and use it for whatever.
For everything. And like a high level gem, you should just be able to pick any level up to that level, no?
Yeah. There could be like a thing on the like right side or whatever, right? Where you just select the level.
Yeah. But I feel like that's like something that they can fix in like, so it's not even we're talking about there. I feel like unless they somehow figured that it was supposed to be like this.
Well, someone said you can actually make decent currency by selling low level gems from campaign.
Yeah.
So like that is one way of like starting.
I would buy them.
Yeah. So I remember on like day one, somebody bought like a level, I think it was like a level 5 SRS off me for like 10x. I was like at the time it was like a decent amount. 10x.
Yeah, because if you missed it when you first did the quest on a minion build, you basically didn't have it until like super late in the campaign.
Oh.
It was the only like guaranteed spirit gem early on.
Right. So yeah, you just bought the SRS on me. I was stoked. I bought like a whole equipment set with that because I was just re-rolling for the third time. So.
But yeah, I think like people probably selling like level 7 gems can probably get a decent amount of currency because that's like the lowest level curse and stuff. Or like heralds, right? Like
gems.
You want to use a Herald of Ash on like gas builds, but then like there's no way you can run a level like 15 Herald of Ash that costs 150 strength.
I mean, you can buy
like speed farming a gas arrow at like level 30 to making divines forever.
Yeah, or you want a level 1 flame ball or something, shit like that, for the int.
What do you guys, now that you played around with it, how do you feel about only being able to use one support?
I like it.
It's good.
It's just not enough right now.
I think so. I think it's great.
I think if you saw the supports that they had before they introduced this rule, like you should be happy that this rule exists, because like all the supports look like they were like absolutely awful. Each support was like, oh, chance to blind on hit, or like, well, you do 10% more damage but 20% less cast speed. They were all so bad, but now we actually have like good impactful supports, like similar to PoE1. But and we have to make decisions, and it's gonna only get better when we get more classes, more supports. So I think it's a good system.
Like the only argument from people that say they want to use it on all, it's like you want to have your cake and eat it too, right? It's like you can't have everything. You can't have considered casting on all your spells. Like that's crazy. So yeah, as you said, like the fact that the 40% is we're able to get so much more power out of the supports that we do have, but you can only apply it to specific gems. Then,
but it also opens up so much. Yeah, it also opens so much design space, like the Gemling Legionnaire, right, where it lets you use 2 of the same, and then it's all of a sudden, whoa, that's crazy strong. Like all they would do if they would let you use support gems multiple times is they would just make the game harder, and it would be exactly the same, because it's not going to change what they want from their game, right?
Yeah. I've really been enjoying, outside of obviously the cutting and stuff, the gem system is probably the greatest change that they've made since PoE1. Being able to bind things to offhand weapons as well, and just being able to have multiple, like if you want to have like a single target spark and an AoE spark or whatever, that's so nice. It just doesn't feel anymore, like I don't feel bad off of having multiple buttons anymore. I just don't feel it. It just feels okay.
Yep.
I was always a fan of that in PoE1 even. I like the multi-button build.
The reason why I don't like it in PoE1 is because PoE1 is always like, so the multi-button builds in PoE1 are very like this, and you repeat that like for 10 hours straight and you're just doing like one action into one another action. Whereas in this game, it feels a little bit more interactive. Like you wouldn't have to necessarily use your second button unless it's like a more difficult target or something. Maybe I'm mistaken with like something like BFBB in PoE1. After a while, you just get RSI. Like, or in PoE2, it doesn't feel like quite as repetitive.
I think stuff like Mana Tempest or Curses feel fine, but stuff like BFBB is like different, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's too repetitive.
I wonder if it just feels fine right now because everybody's kind of more chill. There's not really that competitive. There's not really a market, right? It's like kind of like, it's early access. I wonder if once trade competition and everybody it gets harder and everybody knows kind of what they should be doing, if then you feel bad playing a build that's maybe not optimal. I don't know. If that's going to be a thing, I hope not.
But you kind of feel that right now as well with the economy running away from you. Like the economy's running away from a lot of people at the moment.
Yeah, but that's for everybody. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I checked out like out of those items because it's like I can't share a build anyways. So it's like fuck it, just make normal builds.
I was thinking about just restarting SF because it's like too much for me. Like just seeing how the prices are now.
I think you will enjoy SF a lot, Karata. Because like, you don't have a problem like rolling multiple builds, so I think you will enjoy it a lot. Feels good.
Yeah, I do think like some items, like for example, Ingenuity, right? It's incredible OP, like, but it's very common. It's a very common item.
It's boring too, though. Like it's OP, but it's boring. Like, it's just like, oh, you're in, like, yeah, I use it on my character, and I feel good about dropping it, but like it's just like boring static stats, like no effect, anything, right?
Magebot is the same, no?
Magebot, I mean, I don't like Magebot for similar reasons, but like Magebot still has a little extra with like max stress and stacking and stuff, at least.
Nah.
If you use it for that. But like I do think Magebot is equally boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ingenuity
the really
is
OP
less
part
boring.
about Ingenuity, the breach rings are the really OP part about it, really.
I think it's OP. I think it's OP regardless.
Yeah, I think it's OP regardless as well. Like implicits are
ring
very
is
strong.
better than a belt 1-1 already.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they seem to make belts better then.
Charms are the one disappointment that I had so far, speaking of belts.
Oh god, yeah.
I think Charms should unlock in the campaign when you do Act 3, Act 6. I think they should probably be stronger than they are right now. And in general, I don't even know if my Charm ever procs. Like I've been using Sun Charm. I mean, it probably procs sometimes, but I don't know.
It also has no visual feedback, right? Like I don't even see it. I don't think it has, anyways.
I think that's the thing. Buff in top left. That's it.
Well, like you don't notice when it happens, but then you notice when you get frozen or stunned, right? That's annoying when it's not working. So it's like, why is this not working? But it works all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it says it all that they literally put a 2-pointer on the tree that gives you +1 charm.
I anoint that shit, dude.
But it's not even that good, is what I'm saying. It's like it's okay, but the fact that that's not broken already tells you everything you need to know about charms.
Yeah, I mean, like I have to have it because of I dropped my ES, so now I don't have stun immunity like at all, and it's impossible to get it. So I had to get like +1 charm so I could get the freeze charm and a stun charm. But you know, like stun charm is so shit. It's so bad. It activates after you're stunned. It doesn't negate the first stun. It negates the ones after. It's like so weird.
Branking, but like
getting perma stunned.
Yeah, it's literally branking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stun is really annoying in this game, especially if you like roll stun maps. It's like unplayable almost.
I feel like branking could just be default behavior, man. Like, yeah, you get stunned and then you're immune to stun for 2 seconds or whatever.
I feel like once they give us more defensive tools, everybody's just gonna go on wavering stance. Honestly,
I hate unwavering.
You know what's messed up? The rarity charm activates after you kill a mob as well.
It's not supposed to though, right? It's a bug. Is what
I'm not sure, but what people are doing is they're going plus charms and stuff, and then they're going like 3 rarity charms for like breach. You know, so it's like 1 procs into the next procs. And
wait, does it stack?
No, it doesn't stack, but it just makes sure that it's always up.
Oh,
like,
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it doesn't stack. It's so dumb though.
I feel like
rarity, man.
A lot of work.
We fought so long to get like MF out of PoE1, and then they just feels like the two teams didn't communicate for the last 2 years. Like, oh, Spark doesn't shoot projectiles when you face a wall in PoE1. Well, in PoE2, it doesn't spawn projectiles. Like, what the fuck? Like stuff like that.
I mean,
Feels like
even the
they
Detonate Dead example, right? Like they literally it's
right.
like, oh, it
Yeah.
needs to scale with levels, but then in PoE2 it doesn't.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff like that, yeah. Or like
I will get
like
there,
the
boys.
quality of life stuff, right? Like the control, click, and dash and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you can do the like big trade thing, right? Where you like put
Yeah,
all
or
the stuff in the
trading.
trade.
Yeah.
And the ritual doesn't have filter. Oh, don't even get me started.
That's
I like
true. It
wanted
doesn't
to
have a
farm
filter.
ritual, and it doesn't have the apply filter button. It's so
I've been
bad.
farming ritual. It's. I think if like you're
actually
poor,
just ignore
farm ritual.
everything that doesn't say Audience of the King.
Audience of the
pretty
King
much.
sells for so much. It's crazy.
Yeah. Like if you're poor, like just put ritual, run ritual, and then if you find one audience, that's it. You can snowball from there.
Yeah, Audience
without
or
the
like some of
passives.
the omens too, but they're quite.
The omens
They're
are
very
so
rare.
rare.
I
They may as
found
well not
one good
exist
one.
almost.
I found one
Like
good
that's
one in my
there was like
entire time.
3 or like there's like 1 to 3 of like the really rare one on the auction house for like 2
Yeah,
days.
but the 75% XP omens also go for like 30 or something, right? Like you get those
yeah.
quite frequently.
Yeah, those are quite common. There's also the other one that like full heals you when you go low. That one is really good. I don't know if it's expensive, but it feels really good to use.
I think part of the reason why the omens don't exist as well is my friend had one of them show up, and it was a 2,000 deferral cost, which is like 2,000. You have to have like a pretty okay map to get 2K to begin with.
Yeah.
And
Like you have to have a juice atlas or whatever that you can get them.
Like so he took the 50% deferral cost in case it shows up again. But yeah, look with that. That was a bit weird. I hope they patch that.
The problem is the bosses are just too hard to get, and then it becomes really expensive to even attempt them for your atlas. So a lot of people just don't even have an atlas.
A lot of people will probably be like, oh, I mean, I could get my points to farm more ritual, or I could just sell this and not Gamba the set, right?
I think it should not be like that. Maybe I don't want to. No, they want everything to be tradable. I was gonna say like maybe the first one can't be tradable or something, but that'd be kind of dumb.
I mean,
Or maybe
depends how the
wait,
mechanics snowball. Like Breach probably triples the amount of splinters you get when you get like 6 or 8 points.
What
Same,
if like actually you got like a different invitation for your first points that you couldn't trade, but you got it easier? That way
That's
you'd
what they
be
do in
incentivized.
PoE1.
Oh, like if let's say you do like the first ritual in a tier 15 map and you get like a guaranteed like at least the first
you get like
2
a
points.
quest item. Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't be bad if maybe even lower than that. Maybe even lower levels.
Yeah. There's too much barrier to entry for your average Joe at the moment into endgame for sure. We'll have to fix that. I don't really expect like normal players to get their passive points at all. I just don't. Too out of reach. Like how do you expect somebody to get Delhi passives? Like that's crazy.
I don't even have those
Simulacrum
yet.
is insane. I don't have any of those, but like how much is I'm gonna check right now. How much is Simulacrum?
I've been playing for like a week in SSF, and I actually do put Delirium on most of my maps, and I have like 230 splinters.
Yeah, Simulacrum is 220x as well. So.
And like no one is actually finishing the Simulacrum. It's way harder.
It's so
than the
hard. It's so hard, yeah. And part of the difficulty is because monsters are also like immune for a couple seconds when they spawn. That's a really weird one.
Yeah, that's not a fun way of making it difficult.
Oh.
How much better would it be if they just made it like 100 splinters for all these boss fights? Just made it easier to get them. It would be way cheaper. I don't know. Like the rare item, sure.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's 300. I'm gonna be real. Like I understand why it's not 10, right? Because like you want to drop something every time. But whether it's like 300 and I'm dropping 30 breach splinters, or it's 100 and I'm dropping 10, like what's the difference? I get it. 300 definitely feels like a little too much.
Definitely too much.
Yeah, they pick one at a time. It's like it's so bad. They even said they weren't gonna do that. That's like so toxic.
I mean, listen, if you spend the points, they start dropping that 2 at a time sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's the worst part about it for me.
I think like that's all fixable though. I think a lot of like it's funny because like we've been talking about a lot of the issues that we have with PoE2, and so far I can't think of like anything that we talked about that could just be like fixed. None of the issues we have are like fundamentally like, oh, I think it's just like, yeah, they're all just like small pet peeves. It feels.
Having the two-handed maces thing that we talked about earlier could be like harder to fix.
That's true. Yeah.
But like otherwise,
It's like
yeah, I
intended to be
agree.
that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
They-
it's
they want it to
intended,
be
but
slow.
it's just like everyone kind of not everyone hates it, I guess, but a lot of people who tried it did.
Yeah, because the,
I mean,
the
just
only thing
in
people get
general,
excited about
imagine-
is Hammer of the Ancients, right? Or Hammer of the Gods, sorry.
Yeah, but imagine they revealed like swords first or something. I wonder if the melee, if it would have been completely different. I guess their thought was, oh, we're just gonna show monk as the fast class, right? Which makes sense. But maces just, I mean, they just feel like ass. I don't know.
Because they wanted warrior, right? That's why they got maces. Warrior and warbringer,
Yeah.
whereas like swords is duelist. What is marauder then? Because there's a marauder class as well, right? What are they gonna
Axes, I
wield?
guess.
I think it's probably
weird.
access. No, it might be maces as well, honestly.
Yeah, I would have thought marauder was the mace guy, and then warrior was the sword axe guy, right? Like, doesn't.
I thought they were gonna do warrior the way Barb is in D4, where you just use all weapons or however it works.
Right, yeah, like a jack of all trades type
That
thing.
made sense. Maybe they do that for like a duelist class.
Maybe
Yeah, like the duelist class would definitely be sword.
duelist is gonna be sick. I think. I think it'll be really
I
fun.
think dagger at
I'll play
assassin is
Huntress.
gonna be sick.
Huntress
as
Javelin.
Mela. I hope at least.
Like a spear class where you're like semi-range, semi-melee.
Yeah. So I mean, we've been going for pretty damn long. I guess like I'll just ask you guys one last question. Like, what's the thing that you're most looking forward to? Like, if they were to bring it out, like, what's the thing that you wish they would bring out soonest? Aside for, we already talked about Huntress. Aside for that,
More end-game content.
Affinities.
anything. Affinities.
I
You just want the
can't
map
deal with
affinity.
it, dude.
Oh yeah, map stash. Oh my god.
Map
I have like
stash
10
and, like,
quad, I have
affinities in
2 quad
general.
tabs.
Spell totems.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair. What you got though?
Definitely, I mean, it has to the quad tabs for sure, or like the affinities as well. Because I have so many maps now that's like I'm using like 5 or 6 tabs just for maps. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a.
The only reason it's playable for me is because I played Necropolis League.
Yeah, I have
So I
so
have
many quad
infinite
tabs.
quads, but without that, I would be
Yeah.
in pain.
I have a few quads as well. For me, it would be brands. I want
Ooh.
brands. Brands
Did
would
they
be
say
very
they
cool.
bring? Did they
I
sing
don't think
the?
brands are gonna exist, but I would love
yeah.
brands.
I think brands
It would be
wouldn't
brand
like your
nodes,
main
right?
skill
It would be.
if they exist. Like, I think it would be like a support extra.
I mean, I think Arcanist brand and PoE2 would go hard, bro. That would be sick. I don't know. I would love brands. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for joining me. If you guys want to like plug your stream, you start with Palstron. Palstron, where can people check you out, bro?
Yeah, on Twitch and on YouTube with /Palstron at the end.
Twitch.tv /Palstron. And what about
Yep.
you, Ventura?
Twitch TV Ventura, youtube.com/@Ventura.
Nice. Grotha?
Yeah, twitch.tv, Garatha, and then YouTube back Garatha.
And same here. Just like the names you see basically on the podcast itself, I'm twitch.tv /crashy_2. I sent one video on YouTube since PoE2 launched, so I'm not very active, but hey, maybe more to come. All right, thank you very much for joining, boys. And I hope you guys enjoyed listening to the podcast. It was a bit more just like us chatting as opposed to it being structured, because I don't know, there's just like a lot of stuff that we like and maybe dislike about the game currently. We're just like jumping from topic to topic, but I think it was fun chatting with you boys, and I really appreciate your time. And
I just want to say one thing.
That's great.
We have maybe complained about a lot of stuff in PoE2, but that's just because like those are like the problems we wanted to mention. Realistically, like I think most of us here like love the game the way it is. Like obviously it can get improved, but the base of the game is insane. So I just want to like say that, because
For
like
sure.
we don't have the time to name everything that's good. The game is amazing, and I mean we have been playing it all day, every day, so it speaks for itself.
I think it's intrinsic because we're playing it so much that we're just assume everybody knows that we like it, right? Because otherwise we wouldn't be just grinding it all day.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And
Yeah,
we
the
just
game's
want the game to
amazing.
be better as well. Like it comes from a place of like, yeah, we love it, right? So here's the thing that would make us love it more, basically.
For
It's
sure.
also insane how good it is for early access too. Like I was expecting it to
Yeah.
be a lot more unfinished than it is.
Game slaps. Pretty good game. All right, badass. Thank you very much, boys. Appreciate you.
Hell yeah. See you, man.